Good afternoon, good evening, everyone at home, wherever you're watching across the globe. Welcome back to the EA Sports F1 Creator Series, powered, of course, by EA Sports. And we are going racing tonight around the Bahrain circuit, Sakhir International Circuit to be exact, for the Bahrain Grand Prix, as we now head in with 3 rounds to go. This being as well a very special night because it's the 100th round in Creator Series history as well here in Season 9. What a journey it certainly has been. My name is, of course, George Morgan. Joining me once more is T-Dubs Tom Wilkinson. Tom, how are you doing, mate?
Doing very, very well. Looking forward to this one, returning to a format that we've tried and tested over the past couple of seasons and has become very, very popular. The double header format should get a lot of overtaking. This circuit, Bahrain, induces quite a bit of action as well, so should be another cracker.
Yeah, it definitely will be. Just to let you folks know at home as well, wherever you might be tuned in, we are, of course, live on 3 platforms. You can find us on Twitch, YouTube, and, of course, TikTok at F1 Creator Series. Make sure you check out the socials as well, as you can see them above. For those of you who perhaps want to hear them read out loud, I can obviously do that for you at F1 Creator Series across all platforms. Make sure you check that out, everybody, and get involved. Of course, reels get posted, etc. Many, many clips, and we've got some big announcements to make as well. A big one that's going to be actually announced just after qualifying. So stick around and tune in for that and tell your friends as well. But we're looking ahead now to what I'm sure will be a fantastic night at Sakhir in our centenary round here in the Creator Series. We're going to bring in as well the one and only man on Clipbook as well. Of course, many of you will know him. It's Josh Richards making a return. Josh, welcome back. Don't forget to unmute.
Yeah, I am unmuted. Yeah, I'm doing good today. How are you guys doing?
Very good, Josh. Very good. What can we expect today at Bahrain? Because it's always a thrill ride whenever we go here.
Yeah, well, it's a track that really promotes great racing. We have quite high tyre wear as well around here, so strategy can be interesting. And with the added effect of the wildcard, I think it's really going to spice things up today.
Yeah, now just to talk about the wildcard, Tom, it's quite a massive one. We had Styrophobia going back a few moments. Relatively interesting, I think, for a few drivers. But this is something totally different. We're going to be commencing, obviously, in race 1 alone. The drivers have to basically drive on the same set of tyres until they puncture, and then, of course, they can make a tyre change. So something a little bit different here tonight.
Yeah, it is, though, something that a lot of people would have tried at some point over their F1 games career. You know, this was a trend that we saw even 10 plus years ago, the drive to the tyres explode challenge that we sort of saw on sort of F1 2013 and 14. So some people that have been around for a while, maybe the likes of Tim at Modern, might have a bit of an advantage there, but this should be a really interesting one. What strategy you go for, what tactics you try and employ with that. I think we're going to see quite a few different people trying quite a few different things.
Yeah, big shout out to everyone in the chat. Let us know what you think about the wildcard as well. Great to have you guys all involved here. Let's take a look at the standings. I think just to kick things off, just set the tone for the rest of the evening. We'll kick things off with the drivers. We've got Tim at Marduk there on 221, right at the top of the shop at the moment. He has got a nice, healthy 16-point gap between himself and Formula Karim at the moment. The title, though, still very much on the line. Alex Gillen also in the mixer as well, but needs a few results to go his way. He's level on points with Meraki coming into this evening, with GB68, who was hoping to become a title contender, though he might be missing a couple of races coming into the tail end of the season, so it might be the case that he is out of the equation. Lolinoba, who was absolutely magnificent back at Japan, he's on 160 points. Rasin Chai in 7th place on 118. That guy Vince on 77. Formula Kai in 9th place on 74. Noiguera in 10th place on 72. Riccio 3, who was certainly trying to bring his absolute best at Japan, obviously had a fantastic teammate by the name of Brendan Lee going back to Japan as well. Teamed up with an esports driver, of course, that's just recently retired from the world of F1 sim racing. In Fratic as well in 12th on 59 points with Zafso, of course, Season 1 champion, and PS1 Hagrid, as we all know him, 50 points, half a century. Nick Flies in 14th place on 44. Adam Sanderson, 35. 1 point below that, Tom in his motion rig, of course, as we all know. Matati in 17th. Scott Taylor, 18th. Hayden Gullis in 19th place. And Grid Jokes will be in 20th place as well. We do, of course, have team standings that we can take you through as well. Unfortunately, I can tell you that there is no team standings, but we will update, of course, that later on tonight. Yeah, we'll give you that later on. We can have a look at the calendar, though, just to give you guys a little bit of an update as to where we're going to be going for the rest of the season. Of course, we're here tonight at Bahrain. This is, of course, round 11 here today on April 12th. We have got Jeddah coming up, though, for the next round. That's the penultimate round before we head to the Mystery Grand Prix on round 13, and that track obviously will be unveiled on the night, and that will be a sprint race into a feature race. So plenty of action to come, plenty of points in the offing. Tom, it's all to play for, especially if we get... Though I will say this round tonight could be championship defining.
It really could. I think if you're looking at the sort of group of 3 or 4 behind Ben and Kareem, Alex Gillen's not here this evening. Meraki, GB and Lolanoba are the drivers that have really got to state their claim to try and give themselves an opportunity going into those last couple of races. Tim McMardock could give himself a very sizable advantage coming off the back of a race last week in Japan where Kareem didn't have the best of times, wasn't brilliant in qualifying, had a few issues in the race as well, put on the hard tyres also, so an effective drive-through penalty there. 15 points, like you said, the gap. But for somebody like Meraki, who hasn't won so far this season but has been incredibly consistent so far, GB's had a difficult couple of races, and Lolanoba's the form horse in the entire series. One of those 3 guys, if they're going to make a move, it's going to have to be this week.
Yeah, it certainly will be. As part of the ritual when it comes to the Creator Series, at the start of qualifying, we do run the intermediate tyre pole session, which will be decided as you break under with 12 minutes to go. There is the man in aviators in itself, Zasso, of course, the Season 1 champion, PS1 Hagrid, back again and making his way around the final couple of corners now, looking to get set on his flying lap, his first flying lap of the session. 15 minutes and 50 or so to go. Just to give you a rundown as to who is racing tonight. We have, of course, got Zapso in the RB, lined up alongside reserve driver Blackmere. They're part of, obviously, the RB V-Carb team. We've got GB68 and that guy Vince, the Aston Martin partnership that has been certainly stellar as far as the team's championship is concerned. Very much in the mixer on that, with Formula Karim and Gwatz lining up at McLaren as well. Noiguera with Infratic at Scuderia Ferrari. We then have Racing Chai and Tom back together at Alpine. We have Formula Kai, F1 Alex at Kick Sauber, with Meraki and Mr. Dale in Red Bull. We've got Tom 97 and Becky B in the Williams racing car, along with Tim Mardick and Scotty in the Mercedes. I should say that's actually, I think Ricky's with us. Is Ricky not with us tonight? No, Becky B is in the car tonight as well for Williams. We've got Tim Mardick and Scotty in Mercedes. Scott Taylor and Lolanoba line up for Haas as well, as we now watch Safso make his way up through towards the next left-hander, coming up through towards turn 11, coming out of the DRS zone, before then flying up into Sector 3 proper to try and bring an end to this first flying lap that he's going to register. But we've got a few drivers out there on soft tyres as well at this moment as well, Tom. Not all of them embracing the intermediate tyre.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes it can maybe put you a little bit off kilter, a little bit out of your rhythm going on those inters at the very start of the session. For some of the drivers that are maybe do traditionally find themselves in the lower half of the grid, they want to try and use all of those available laps to get into a good rhythm, get some decent banks on the board and really go for it at the end of the session. Safso with the benchmark on the green stripe tyres, just about getting into the 1 minute 29s with just over 2 minutes to go. I'd imagine that's going to be eclipsed by somebody.
Yeah, 129.9. That will certainly be eclipsed. We have got some impressive sectors coming through for others on intermediate tyres. Becky B coming in and just over 3 1/4 to 3.5 tenths of a second, just behind Zafso. GB68, though, marks his name in the second place spot. 82 thousandths off the top of Formula Karim. Title competitor to Tiamat Marduk, second in the championship, as Tom now goes second fastest. Lolanoba, Japanese Grand Prix race winner. F1 Alex, though, on the soft tyre. That, of course, won't count towards an intermediate tyres pole, but Tiamat Marduk's might. He goes third fastest overall and fastest on the intermediate tyre, and only 1.5 seconds really off the pace of F1 Alex. So when he gets onto the softs, obviously he'll have a lot more pace than that, but it will be, as it stands, Benjamin Daly going to the top in terms of the intermediate tyre. But we still have a few more laps coming through. We've got a purple first sector as well for the man in 14th, Formula Kai. Here comes Meraki, who goes 10th fastest, not happy with his lap, I can imagine, at all. We have got a couple more names down the bottom, Tom 97 and Noiguera, who are looking to register their lap. Scotty now arriving. Of course, many of you know Scotty Designs, who creates the phenomenal meme recaps that we have week in, week out for the Creator Series YouTube channel. Truly magnificent. Check them out if you can. Has gone purple immediately in this session as a driver here this evening with a 128.112. Here comes Noiguera on intermediates, looking to topple Tiamat Marduk, and does. Moves to the fastest of the intermediate tyre pole laps, and we're coming down to the crucial seconds now before intermediate tyre pole comes to an end.
Yeah, and Tom 97, the last driver, realistically looking at snatching this away from the Scarlet car, and it's incredibly close as well. From 4th down into, we'll call it 11th place with that guy Vince, just under 4/10 of a second. Ben did have it by 5 milliseconds. Can Tom 97 steal a march from the Guerra? Yes, he can, and that is a sizable margin. Only a second slower than Scotty, who's on the soft tyres. That's some serious pace on the wrong compound for Tom 97. And I'd be very surprised with 10 seconds to go if anybody is able to eclipse that. And it should be Tom 97, who, if you remember, his first appearance this season at Silverstone did not end particularly well, crashing in the pit lane. And Tom 97 getting onto the scoring board for the first time with that singular point.
He certainly is. Tom 97, of course, who has got 11 wins under his belt historically in the EA Sports F1 Creator Series, marks his return, a former Constructors Champion as well in this championship. So now marking a return with a points finish, at least in some way. A man who has drove 100 laps of Bahrain and gained 4/10 of pace in doing so is Formula Kai, as he now makes his way across the line to make his way down through towards turn one. Was actually purple in the last time he went through the first sector. Obviously this time we'll need to try and go again, as he now makes his way out of turn one and turn two and through towards turn three, yet to register a valid lap onto the board. As the timer continues to tick onwards, it's still Scotty Designs who sits right at the very top. We've got Zapso out on an out lap as well once more, this time embracing, no doubt, I am sure, the soft compound of tyre soon enough, as we now watch as Formula Kai makes his way through the middle sector and coming out of it now, heading down through towards turns 9 and 10 very shortly as well. 10 minutes and 55 to go. The big question is, will we see a twist in the tail as far as the championship's concerned here at this moment, T-Dub? Because, of course, whilst it's TM at Marduk at the moment, we looked at the standings, 16 points between them. With it being a double header, some big points in the offing here tonight. Yeah,
lots on the table, lots to try and fight for. At the moment, they're very closely matched, 12 milliseconds separating the Mercedes and the McLaren car on their intermediate times. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something very similar once they bolt on those slick, soft compound tyres. Formula Kai with a decent middle sector. He's been very, very impressive in qualifying so far. Out of his 6 qualifying sessions he's taken part in, qualified inside the top 5 on 5 of those occasions, and of the full-time drivers has the 3rd best average qualifying on the grid, cutting the beam now, and he is comfortably clear of Scotty Designs, 26.9. Very good time to kick off the session for him.
Yeah, lovely lap for Formula Kai, and obviously a driver that's really grown into this series. Best result so far this year was obtaining the P2 back at Britain. So far this campaign has picked up points finishes, though, across the board, but no doubt looking for something a little more. He also took the intermediate pole lap during that time as well at Silverstone. So plenty more to come if you are Formula Kai. As we now watch as Gwatz makes his way down the long straights here. 19th place, still yet to register his first lap. Of course, marking his appearance once again as a reserve driver. But no doubt looking to try and bring his absolute best here to the Creator Series. As he now comes around the final corners once more. Historically, this is his 11th race, actually, coming into tonight as he now crosses the line. Goes 4th fastest with a 1:28.272. It's still Kai, though, out in charge and on top. Blackmere also on a lap as well, has set a 28.7 in the first sector, 37.9 in the middle, which is not too far apart from what Scotty did on his faster lap. Noiguera also on an out lap as well, making his way uphill. As now Blackmere comes around the final corners to see where he goes. Of course, yet another driver that's yet to set his first lap time. We've got Scott Taylor, Super Noodle Bagel, who's also got to do the same, as Blackmere goes 6th fastest and 1.7 away from Kai at the top of the shop.
Yeah, big gap still between the Kick Sauber and the rest, although the leading contenders still yet to bolt on those soft tyres just over halfway through the session. Blackmere trying to get out of the way as his teammate fills the gap between Kai and Scotty, almost exactly half a second down on Formula Kai, 27.5 that'll be for the Season 1 champion. And we were talking about Gwatz earlier. I'm expecting to see those 2 McLaren cars working together quite nicely. Very good working relationship, Gwatz and Formula Cream. Formula Cream used to be the engineer for Gwatz when he was part of the F2 field. So I'd be very surprised if there aren't a little bit of papaya rules and papaya games going on at some point.
Would not be surprised to see those two working together, especially as well since Karim is chasing that title. I'm sure that Gwatz is going to take it upon himself to try and aid him as much as he can in moving forward in tonight's race here at Bahrain. A lot of opportunity around this circuit. We mentioned some of the heavy braking zones. We talk about turn 1, turn 4 being some of the better ones coming out of DRS zones, but also you can find a run coming in towards turn 11 where you can open up the door for a move. We've had some more laps come on through as well. Currently Lolin Ober in 2nd fastest with Infratic just behind him now, to the Ferrari moving up into 3rd place, 1:27.291, and sits just over 3/10 off Formula Kai's time at the very top of the timing screen. Here comes Tiamat Marduk up towards line 4th fastest, 4/10 of a second. just sat behind Infratic at the moment. Not bad for the Aussie, who's also going for the title. But at this stage, on 221 points coming into tonight's round here at Bahrain. Now the Astons, who are currently occupying the bottom 10, they've now got one in the top 10, with that guy Vince now moving into 8th place, just over 7.5 tenths, nearly 8 tenths in behind as well. Now just remember, this is a short qualifying session because it's a double header. We are running a reverse race for race 2. Of course, the first race is going to be encompassing the wild card that we will be seeing tonight, which will be the 100% tyre wear challenge. So obviously, as soon as you puncture, as soon as those tyres have reached their brink and exploded, you come in for a new set, and that means you've obviously managed to do the wild card. Here comes Scotty up towards the line, 1.1 away from the top, does improve and brings it to just outside 8.5 tenths, but remains 10th fastest.
Yeah, it's a solid start so far. As we said, only 4.5 tenths down on his teammate and championship leader, Tim McMahon, because Tom 97 breaking the heart of Formula Kai there, 26.6. That is some good pace there for the Williams driver, jumping in. His teammate inside the top 7 as well. Now Becky B on their debut, ahead of some serious contenders. 2 former champions just in behind, Meraki and Tom, unable to get ahead of that Williams car on debut.
Yep. As we now watch the Red Bull climb uphill now through the final sector. Now the pit lane is starting to get a little bit busier now, with cars coming straight back in before the final runs can take place. We've got just under 6 minutes to run at this point in time. Now I think Super Noodle Bagel is Mr. Dale here at this point, so it's not like, oh right, it is a reserve. So we've had a little late change in the day, as Mr. Dale will be taking part here tonight. So Super Noodle Bagel taking the seat at Red Bull as he now makes his way up through towards the pit lane, not setting a lap on this occasion, but yellow flags out across the track as we see some of the slower cars coming on in. Of course, still some green sectors sprouting up at the moment, but like I said, now's the calming period for many of the drivers to get set for their final runs. Noiguera out on an outlap, Racing Chai making his way down through towards turn 4 and looking to register his first lap of the session. Has spent a great deal of time in the pits and has actually invalidated, I think, his first run as well. Has already been given a warning, so has had his own brush with track limits here in qualifying as well at this time, Tom.
Yeah, not ideal. GB falling foul of the track limits also, so that's 2 of the perennial contenders to the throne, you would say, leaving themselves with a bit of pressure in the final 5 minutes. Scott Taylor also with no time on the board. We're hearing that he may be having some technical issues, which is why we are yet to see the Haas driver so far in this session. Formula Cream's got a decent benchmark on the board as well, just under 900ths down on Tom 97's 26.6. So the driver second in the championship, second in the qualifying session at the moment, and 6 tenths ahead of his nearest rival in that championship fight.
Yep, Racing Chai with 8 wins to his name, 19 podiums, also a former champion all the way back in Season 5. Looking to register his first time of the session, 28.2 in the first sector. Just a little bit slower than Formula Kai in Sector 1, the middle sector. Also just a little bit slower than Kai as well, but this could yet challenge for a top 5, but it won't this time. Comes straight into the pits, and once again will not set a time unless he sets one very late on. Blackmere out on an outlap. We've got only 3 cars out on track this time. We've got Zafso, Meraki and Blackmere at this moment in time. So two different constructors, because RB have got both their drivers out on a lap. Could be a tactic here, Tom?
Potentially. I don't know. I think a couple of them are under some significant pressure. Safso in a decent spot. He hasn't had a particularly good qualifying this season. Meraki in 9th as well. You'd expect him to be a little bit high. He is a snake, though, of course. So if he does qualify down the order, I don't think anybody will be particularly upset by that one.
Yeah, no. I think this was a poll that was mentioned. What creature are you in the cooldown room? And everyone voted that Jake would be the snake here in the EA Sports F1 Career Series. So that's confirmed, obviously, by our broadcast team. Thank you so much for that. Safso now making his way up towards the line as the outlap will become a fast lap once more for the Season 1 champion here in the Creator Series in the RB here and now. Looking to try and bolster his own possibilities here in this championship. Has had his hard times though, as Safso has really struggled here on the F1 24 game, but with F1 25 just around the corner, brighter horizons could be coming up as Safso now makes his way down through towards turn 4. This has been a reasonable qualifying appearance though for Safso, currently occupying that P7 and could yet find something a little extra, especially on new tyres, and has done. Has found just over 1 1/4 tenths of a second as he now makes his way down through towards turn 8, and now certainly feathering that throttle through towards turns 9 and 10 as well. Slight descent going downhill. You need to try and pinpoint your braking at the same time as well. Just make sure you downshift appropriately before then applying the power once again before making your way through towards turns 9, out of turns 9, turns 10, through towards turn 11 as well. Coming into towards sector 3 proper, Zafso, as we said, 28.387 in that first sector is an improvement. Let's see what the middle sector can bring him. He's done a 37.4 already. He's actually found 2 tenths on this very lap as well, so that could bring him right into territory with the likes of Infratic and Tiamat Marduk as it stands. They're all out on outlaps now to begin their final lap phase here in Q1, but the question is, what can Season 1 champion PS1 Hagrid Zafso bring to the table? Can he rise and jump within the top 6? He can jump in the top 4 and register a time that's only just under 5 tenths of a second of Tom 97's time.
Significantly better than what we've seen so far this season for Zafso in qualifying. It's a circuit that he likes as well. Qualified twice inside the top 5. His teammate not getting that sort of performance out of the car. 14th and just under a second down on that time. Looking really good for Zafso. F1 out. It's the longest current DNF streak in the Creator Series of 6 races in a row without seeing the checkered flag. That is not good news at all. He's going to want to try and put right the wrongs of those previous few weeks. Currently sat in 12th position at the moment. And circulating pretty nicely so far. Would like to find another improvement. Maybe get himself inside the top 10, which he hasn't done too frequently so far this season, although he did have a very good qualifying session in Monaco right at the start of the campaign.
Yeah, F1 Alex obviously has had his troubles and a DNF-littered season, that's for sure. But has scored points. Monaco being the 2-point scoring round. Did, of course, score points as well back at race 2 at the Italian job as well. So currently occupying in terms of the championship, basically a 22-place position in this very extensive championship rostrum that we have here, with multiple drivers taking part in the EA Sports F1 Creator Series. As now we await more times to come through. We're coming in now to the very bitter end stages of this qualifying session. Only 15 seconds or so left now before the checkered flag comes out. Rasin Chai on a personal improvement, as you would expect, because he's yet to register a single lap so far that is valid right now. Tom 97 looking to improve as well on the previous lap that he did set, which was the 1:26.670 that brought him to the top. Zafso's retired from the session. No surprise, but I'm sure we'll take solace from that stellar lap just to close out the day. As now we watch them head down through towards the final corners. Here comes Tom 97 now. Can the Williams once again grasp 2 hands on this pole position and add it to the plethora of stats that he has had? Yes, he will. A 1:26.399 does indeed go faster. What about Formula Karim? Can he etch his name higher than Tom 97's? He's arriving in tonight, second in the championship. Would love a little bit more. Does improve, but it's not enough for provisional pole. Formula Kai also sat in 30s, making his way around on a lap. He's coming up through now towards the line, will remain 3rd fastest. Tiamat Marduk up into 4th fastest, getting a useful tow off the back of the Aston Martin as well. What about Infratic, as now we see Rasin Chai hop from the bottom into P5. What about Fabio? Now in comes Infratic up towards the line in the Scuderia Ferrari. Is there an improvement? No. Quats comes 9th fastest as well. That guy Vince will stay in the bottom 10. Scotty will remain 13th. Here comes Tom. He'll move into 10th place in the Alpine. And Meraki, Season 4 champion, has not entered himself into the championship equation here this season, but looking to bounce back at least, maybe into the top 10, and he can't. Will remain 12th fastest and on the 6th row of the grid, at least for now. But as the timer now ticks to 0, we're into stoppage time. That's all she wrote. Tom 97 is back on pole position, and I'm sure he's going to be absolutely thrilled with that. A welcome return for the man who now on his return registers only, his 13th pole in his Creator Series career. What an exceptional lap, a 1:26.399 to go fastest here at Bahrain.
Yeah, lovely bit of breathing space as well. 1/4 of a second clear of Formula Cream. Tiamat Marduk, I think, will be satisfied with that. Just the 1 car between himself and the McLaren, but some big names down the order. One of them, Meraki, that we're watching in 12th. I don't know if anybody spotted it. GB and Nogueira failed to get laps in on the soft tyres. GB will be starting from 19th place for this first race, and Nogueira 1 spot ahead in 18th.
Yeah, we'll take you through the running order now. Tom 97 on pole with Formula Karim, Formula Kai. That's your top three. Timit Marduk 4th, Rasin Chai in 5th, Lolinova in 6th, Safso in 7th, Infratic in 8th place, Gwat. Then Tom, that rounds out your top 10. Becky B, Meraki, Dat Guy Vince, Scotty, F1 Alex, Blackmere, Super Noodle Bagel, Noguera, GB, and Scott Taylor not registering a lap at the very bottom of the grid. So there you have it. Those are the cars and how they will fare and how they'll line up heading through towards our first race coming up now very, very shortly. Of course, no formation lap tonight, so the drivers are going to have their wits about them when we get stuck into this race. But an incredible qualifying session brought to a close, and Tom 97 pulling out all the stops, managing to take yet another pole position for a driver who's had such fewer starts in this series. I mean, 12 poles is quite an achievement.
100%. He's very, very quick. We know the pace that Tom 97 has in his back pocket. Probably, if you exclude Brendan Lee taking part last week, the fastest driver that we have ever had compete in the Creator Series. Hasn't always been able to piece it together, quite famously on race day. Had a couple of whoopsies that have lost him some of those race victories that he should have had. But I think he'll gain a decent amount of confidence from that. Jumping back in the series, got a quarter of a second on the head tops of anybody else. He's going to be feeling very good going into race number 1.
Yeah, one of Tom 97's biggest achievements, of course, becoming a race winner in a top flight league event. That was, of course, WOR, where he went on to go ahead and take victory at Canada, at Montreal. Obviously, Bahrain, a very different circuit, a very different nation, but still, nonetheless, Tom 97's pace is very clear based on what we have seen already. We can just show you the team standings as well. Of course, we showed you the drivers earlier on. Let's go through the teams before we get into race 1. Mercedes currently sitting on top of the tree on 271 points ahead of Aston Martin. We mentioned the combination of GB68 and Dat Guy Vince coming together. They've had a good season as a team, maybe not so much as drivers by themselves. McLaren in 3rd on 250 points. Visa Cash App RB in 4th place on 234 point territory, with Red Bull in 5th on 192, waiting to break 200 points here tonight, with Haas also a point behind them as well. Obviously, Lolinoba winning back at Japan last time out. Alpine, with the forces of nature that is Rasin Chai and Tom, looking to bring themselves to the forefront as well, and expecting more from Ferrari, with the likes of Noguera and Infratic both sharing their seats once more together. Williams in 9th as well, and Sauber down in 10th place. Who'll be looking for a big return as well here this evening, with Formula Kai starting exceptionally well. But, looking on the face of it, still a very close teams championship, Tom.
It is, but Aston Martin left themselves with a lot of work to do. This is a track that both of them, GB and Vince, traditionally go quite well at. Vince has never started or finished lower than 7th. He's just qualified 13th, and GB, best quality of 4th, best race finish of 2nd in his 2 races here, starting from 19th. And that is a big shocker, because he, so far this season, that is his worst qualifying by a mile, hasn't qualified lower than 6th so far, and of all the full-time drivers, has the highest average starting position.
Yeah, at the end of the day, stats mean a lot to us as commentators. We obviously go through them. But yeah, obviously the drivers, they love to hear from these things as well. Looking at some of the podiums that have been flicked around, I would argue that this has been one of the most competitive season, one of the most competitive seasons, certainly where the wins have been bandied about. One driver, obviously, we alluded to the successes of Aston Martin. GB, this has been one of his statement years, whilst, of course, the title fight might be out of reach. In terms of the number of wins he's received, obviously we go back to the Italian job, where, of course, he was competitive, winning in the first race at Monza. And then, of course, moving ahead to others. He did, of course, take victory later on in the fan vote that season. So it was the first time he went and took 2 race wins in a season, which was unbelievable. Probably would like to find something a little extra here now that he's done that and achieved that. It was one thing to win his first race. Now he's looking towards championships. And I think, knowing GB, a driver such as him, for example, you would almost expect him to be in that win equation.
You would. He's just stalled a little bit in this second half of the season. Was right in there. Remember, sort of 4 or 5 rounds ago, we had what we thought was going to be a 5-way championship battle. It hasn't quite worked out like that. Lolinoba's come on really strong, and Tim Marduk and Formula Karim have put a little bit of distance between themselves and that group behind. But yeah, recent races for GB. Hasn't been on the podium since Australia 3 rounds ago, so needs to try and find some good form. If he doesn't have a very good first race, he'll be set up nicely for round number 2. But starting from 19th, obviously we've got the wildcard. Anything can happen with the way that this will function, but he has once again left himself with a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, remember, of course, that when the tyres puncture, that means they can make the tyre swap, and that will be the wild card fulfilled. But obviously, looking forward to seeing who manages this the best. Obviously, looking ahead as well, remember, no hard tyres can be in use as well in the Creator Series. That was a rule that was brought in for this season as well. So they've only got the soft and the mediums to pick from. So that will spice things up just a little bit. And as we look at Bahrain as well as a track, obviously something that we generally see at the start of a Formula One calendar, obviously exists now towards the tail end of the Creator Series calendar. I mean, we've had many great races here in the past, and obviously when the drivers have come here and fought it out over the course of a championship. Who do you think that this circuit kind of aligns to more here, Tom, in terms of abilities around a track? I mean, we know that Tiamat Marduk likes to get his elbows out a little bit. We know that even maybe the likes of the Alpines, like Tom and Racing Chai, of course, Racing Chai, former champion. You know, we spoke about Alex Gillen in the past, of course, Lolin Ober representing Haas tonight. You know, it's going to be quite tight. I think as a typical racer's circuit, you know, for a driver, you know, this is a fantastic track to go to because you can, like you say, get the elbows out, utilize the power of DRS, but at the same time also see the odd switchback or two, especially coming through the likes of turn 2, turn 3, and even on the outside of turn 4.
Yeah, it encourages people to be a little bit punchy with their overtaking opportunities, which is something that I think we can all get behind. Traditionally, this has been a strong circuit for Raz, and he's starting relatively high. I think he qualified in P5, but got 2 pole positions here in Season 3 and Season 5. Has got a race win as well. If Alex Gillen was here, I would have probably said this is an Alex Gillen circuit. He's been very, very competitive in the times that we've seen him. Not here, so that's one of the perennial contenders that has been thrown out. So that just opens the field up a little bit. Tom 97 goes in as the favourite, of course, but as Creator Series lore in the 100 races that we're about to see have shown us, hasn't always been able to convert that quali pace into race pace.
No, not at all. Now, Tom, are you ready for an announcement?
Let's go.
I'm ready for an announcement. So, folks, we can announce that sign-ups ahead of next season on F125 are now officially open. So you can go across and sign up for your interest in taking part in the Creator Series going forward. If you want to do that, get involved. There will be instructions in the Discord and on social media, I'm sure, in good time. So if you want to get involved in the series, please make sure you go and check it out. And obviously, it's a very exciting time to be part of the EA Sports F1 Creator Series right now. Obviously, with the new game coming out very soon, we've seen the obviously, big thank you to Gareth Allen as well, our producer in our ears as well, producing the sign-up form. That is available. It's been pinned in the Twitch chat. So for you guys, if you want to check it out and get involved, click that link and you can sign up. The link also there in the live chat has been pinned, like I said, and it will be on YouTube as well for you guys that are watching on there as well. So get involved. Don't miss your chance to get involved in the EA Sports F1 Creator Series. A very exciting time, a brand new era with F125 coming out, and obviously the partnership with Lewis Hamilton as well. It's going to be extraordinary.
100%. And this is an opportunity, if you fancy yourself potentially at taking on some of your favourite creators that you've been watching over the last 3 years of Creator Series, then yeah, now's your opportunity. Start of a new game cycle. If you want to get involved, get on that sign-up sheet.
Start of a new era. Now also, we can show you the starting grid ahead of this first race that we've got coming up, where the wild card will take place. And we'll go from the back to the front. 20th place for Scott Taylor and Haas, with GB68 lining up alongside him in 19th place. Then moving on up in 18th place, Noiguera. Super Noodle Bagel lines up in 17th spot. Then into 16th, Black Mirror. Alongside him, F1 Alex, hoping not to retire this time around. 14th place for Scotty Designs. He'll be making meme videos, I'm sure, later on. Hopefully not about himself, or maybe he's hoping to. That guy Vince will be in 13th place. 2 Aston Martins outside the top 10. Meraki in P12 for Red Bull, with Becky B lining up in 11th place for Williams. Then moving into the top 10, Tom, representing Alpine, will start in that 10th spot, with Gwatz alongside him in 9th. 4th row of the grid, we've got Infratic representing the Prancing Horses Ferrari, with Zavso for Visa Cash App RB in 7th. 6th place for Japanese Grand Prix winner Lolin Ober. 5th place for Racing Chai for Alpine. Onto the 2nd row of the grid, and championship leader Tiamat Marduk representing Mercedes lines up alongside Formula Kai in 3rd. And the front row, it's Formula Karim, Tiamat Marduk's title rival, but the returning Tom 97 marks a 12th pole position here in the EA Sports F1 Creator Series. He'll be starting from P1 on the grid. So as you can see, we are now very much in touch with race conditions. Let us know your predictions in the live chat. We'll be getting this race off straight away, so do not go away. Quick prediction from yourself, Tom. Where do you see this one going?
Oh, it's so hard to call, isn't it? I think Formula Cream, I fancy him. He seems a little bit more focused, a little bit more understanding of the situation. I think this is an opportunity for him to try and take a chunk out of Tim McMulloch's championship lead. I think I'm gonna fancy the McLaren victory as is potentially possible to see tomorrow.
It is very, very possible. Obviously, Oscar Piastri. Well, I won't say that actually because it might spoil it for everybody. Never mind. But yeah, it's going to be extraordinary. We have got obviously a race about to happen here at Bahrain. It'll be the first race of 2 that we've got coming up for you here this evening, and of course, the first one will feature the wild card. Remember, they've got to use their tyres in the opening stint until they puncture before they can then swap on to another tyre. Now, what drama will that cause? What chaos will unfold here at Bahrain? We'll soon find out here at Sakir. Get involved, everybody. Don't forget to check out the socials as well here at the EA Sports F1 Creator Series. We are across the board on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, at F1 Creator Series. So get involved, stay up to date with everything that's involved around the series as well. There are reels that are posted on the regular. Be sure to check those out, and also the driver reactions and the highlight videos as well. But we are getting set ready to go. As you can see, a very quiet pit lane for now. It's all going to formulate onto the grid. Who's going to get the better run down through towards turn 1? Will it be Karim? Will it be Tom 97? Can he use some of that league racing prowess that we all know Tom 97 certainly possesses? We've got Formula Karim, obviously someone who is so used to taking big player results. Last win back at China in race 2, knows how to certainly win in a double race situation. Appreciate that was a sprint weekend, but you know, it doesn't matter how you win them, Tom, they all count.
100%. Just get over the line in the fastest possible time, and you get your full reward from it. And I think that's the way that the most of the drivers are going to think about it in so many different strategies. Do you try and wreck the tyres? Do you drive normally? Do you try and preserve the tyres? So many different avenues for the guys to take, and that's probably what they're deliberating over now.
Yep, certainly are. We're now waiting now for the timers to tick to 0. The drivers waiting on the grid for us to go racing here at Sakir. So get involved in the live chat. We want to hear from you. Let us know who your prediction is for the victory here tonight at Bahrain, as we await the drivers to get ready. Here come the lights now. All 5 lights are indeed lit, and it's pedal to the metal, and it's go, 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 go. Great start for Tom 97, equally good as well for Formula Karim, Formula Kai. Just in the back, we see a Mercedes drifting off to the inside. That's Tim Marduk looking to try and defend the place against the imposing Formula Kai, and Tim Marduk losing a little bit of momentum coming out of turn 1 through towards turn 2. It's Tom 97 though who still leads the way. Rasin Chai has managed to nudge his way into 3rd place as well, just ahead of Formula Kai, as well. We see many of the drivers already vigorously trying to warm their tyres up heading through towards turn 4, but now coming out in towards turn 5 and 6. It's Tom 97 on medium tyres. He's going long on the opening stint with Formula Karim in 2nd place. He's going on the softs, looking to bin them off early.
100%. The Formula Kai nearly taking a chunk out of Razzie down into turn number 8, having to hold station in 4th for the time being. Tim McMulloch leaking that position courtesy of starting on those slightly less grippy medium tyres. Big cluster going into the turns 9-10 complex as well. Emphatic in there. Tom losing a couple of places. Good start for Gwot in that second McLaren, now up inside the top 8.
Yeah, Emphatic moving up into the top 10, or shall I say the mainstays of the top 10, now dropping down again as Tom looks to challenge him, coming out into the final sector out of the middle as they now climb uphill through towards the next right-hander. Still wheel to wheel once again between what looks to be the sister Ferrari, I think, of Noiguera and Becky B, who are now tussling over that P11 as we now watch our race leaders come down towards the final 2 corners here at this moment in time, rounding turn 14 and 15 before beginning lap 2 of 29, as we now see Formula Karim look to join Tom 97 as they peel off towards the pit wall side, and now down through towards turn 1 and feathering that throttle, powering it, foot to the floor, and now straight on the brakes as Formula Karim takes the lead prior to the apex, and Rasin Chai looking to follow him through as well. But Tom 97 on the medium tyre able to defend the place. Yellow flags up in sector 1, and Becky B is round. Becky B, as you can see in the distance, right at the very start of turn 1, turning around, and unfortunately now rooted to the back of the order, but it's Formula Karim in front, and Tom 97 has dropped down to 5th as well. He's lost a plethora of places to Rasin Chai now in 2nd, Formula Kai in 3rd, but they're going wheel to wheel still, as now Zavso enters the fight out of nowhere and moves up into P3 as he runs wheel to wheel with Formula Kai on the way down towards turn 9, and the season 1 champion bursts back in, but he sustains damage to his front nose, and Karim has gone round 2.
Absolute carnage going on. The medium runs were all over the place. We've got a virtual safety car. Formula Kai with a 10-second penalty collision with Saf. So it's Razin Chai that got it all wrong there. You can see damage for Lolanoba in the Haas. Definitely damage for the Alpine of Razin Chai. And that was a big, big error. Way too late on the brakes down to turn number 10. Almost sending Formula Cream into a spin. The McLaren managing to catch it. But that all sort of came from the medium runners. Tom 97 and Tim at Marduk losing a handful of places at exactly the same time. Dropping from first down into fifth was the Williams. Ben losing places as well as we go once again. And this could be the Season 1 champion potentially taking the lead, although they've both been caught short by Formula Cream down the inside of the penultimate corner. Razin's wounded with that damage. Will he jump into the pit lane at the end of the lap? No, I think he's going to try and stick it out. But as we start lap 3, the Season 1 champion is your race leader.
Great to see Sasso back at the front, and we've spoken about his troubles already. Obviously, he's been a little bit despondent with his performances through the course of this campaign, but now seemingly looking to recover. And now he's got the clean air out in front, and Rasin Chai in behind him in second place with damage to his front left end plate, as you can see on that front wing. And just look at the chaos that's unfolding on the way down through towards turn 4 as Formula Kai goes around the outside of Tom, who has managed to flourish his way up inside the top 5. And now Alpine have 2 cars in the top 4 with Tom 97 now down in 5th. Remember though, he is on that medium tyre, so he won't be boxing till much later.
Not at all. Ben will be doing the same, and I think he's also got wing damage. Look at the amount of drivers that are missing parts of their front wing. Tom 97's got a bit of damage in there. I think Ben with some front wing damage as well. Who's got it all intact? Potentially Gwatz in the McLaren. I don't think Formula Cream has any damage either. Of course, the race leader Safso with a decent margin over Razin Chai, 6/10 per second. Lolanoba weaving down the straight, probably to try and put some extra miles, just those extra couple of meters on those tyres so they blow up a little bit early. Although Gwatz under pressure now. Nogueira trying to swing that Scarlet Ferrari around the outside, going to get a nice little foothold here as he launches it around the outside. Lolanoba with that front wing damage early on the brakes. That just balks Gwatz in the McLaren slightly. Nogueira saying thank you very much, and that is 8th place for him.
Yeah, Nogueira now up into the 8th place for the Ferrari team, with Gwatz now settled in behind him. Tim Marduk now dropping to 10th place as the yellow flag erupts again, and it looks like a Ferrari has stopped. Infratic has actually had a moment in Sector 3 as Zafso takes the fastest lap, and Infratic routed to the tail end. Now I think this is an instigation of trying to remove some of the tyre wear. I think either that or he's having some real problems in self-righting himself, as now there's
more
another
contact
moment as that guy Vince goes round, and GP, and look at this, Scotty getting also pulled up at turn 1, and Becky B caught up in it as well. Chaos in the first sector, chaos at turn 1.
Hugely messy, and it's not the first time either, is it, that we've seen the 2 green machines tripping over each other. Saw it at Silverstone, ended the race of that guy Vince, and once again down to turn number 1, coming a cropper. This has been maybe the dirtiest Creator Series first 4 laps I have ever seen in my life. Nogueira hasn't got front wing damage, Lolanoba does, and that's going to be a very easy pass for the Scarlet Ferrari up into 7th place, making the most of the slightly wounded nature of the Haas behind. Safso still with that 6/10 per second margin over Razin Chai. Tom Weaving trying to put some extra miles on his tyres. Infratic has stopped once again, whether that's to do some more donuts or try and bring out a safety car, I'm not quite sure on that one, but he is stopped coming out of the final corner.
It looks like that could be the case, obviously considered the fact that he's lost so much time on the rest of the field, and now coming, I think is he coming into the pits now? Is that going to be a retirement? Yes, he's coming into the pits. Now, he has punctured, so he's gone for an early puncture, so that was his plan. He came in, wanted to wear his tyres out early on, and now he's managed to succeed, but he's put another set of softs on. Now, why on earth has he decided to do that? Because, of course, that is 2 sets of soft tyres. Surely you'd want to move on to a set of the mediums at the very least.
100%. It's an interesting strategy call, as there was a little look up the inside for Tom on Formula Cream, but thinking better of it. Just some updates from our clip but corner man Josh. Jake currently sat at 40%, Meraki down in 13th, Formula Kai on 20% on his softs. Super Noodle Bagel I think has got the same idea that Infratic had. Fabio's obviously punctured his tyres, but he's now found himself a lap behind everybody else, so whether that strategy is genius or delusional, we'll have to wait and see.
You certainly will, because bear in mind, whilst they are doing the donuts out on track to try and puncture the tyres, the others are still going around. Now, if they can build enough of a delta before they then puncture their own compound of tyre, then that could, I'm not sure whether it's going to sway the room more in those that are doing the donuts, or whether it's going to go in favour of those that are going to continue out on track. But the one driver that could be compelling to watch later on will be Tom 97 on that medium stint, as to whether he can build enough of a gap because we know his natural pace is excellent as Super Noodle Bagel makes his way out. Now, has he finally managed to puncture his set of tyres? Yes. I think so. So he now comes in. You can see that rear left side to flap away on the back of the Red Bull. He's coming in for a pit stop and looking to get that tyre changed and make amends here. Safso still out in front, leading the race. As it stands, they exit out of the final 2 corners and down through towards the start-finish line once again. Formula Kai picking up a 3-second time penalty. Now that is somewhat of a disaster, especially if the field is so tightly bunched. There is Super Noodle Bagel coming out of the pits now on a fresh compound of tyre as they now come down through towards turn 1. Formula Karim and Zafso wheel to wheel on the run out of the first corner. Zafso, though, has the better line coming out of turn 2 and will retain that P1 for now, but now the DRS in the favour of Karim. Second place in the championship, takes the lead here at Bahrain as Tom has a little look down the inside of Zafso. Can't punt for the move, but surely there's going to be plenty of moves in the offing in this initial stint. Many drivers, though, still need to box.
100%. And I'm now really starting to question the donut strategy, I have to say. Scott Taylor gets ahead of that second McLaren of Gwatson. There's a nice little bit of symmetry, isn't there? Because if you remember back to the first doubleheader we had, the Italian job around the Imola circuit, it was Formula Cream and Safso battling for the win for the majority of that race. Safso had some penalties looming over his head, but nonetheless, they were the drivers that crossed the line in first and second with Alex Gillen giving hot pursuit.
Yep. Now they're coming down now through towards turn 11. Getting closer again is Zafso looking to return the serve. Meraki now right at the rear end of the field. Has got Becky B for company, heading down through towards turn 11. 15th place at the moment as now Becky B goes up the inside in the Williams and past Meraki, who's now been sent down into P16 as they now look to race in through towards the final corners here at Bahrain. It's still Karim at the very top. Zafso following him round in an effort to try and take that race lead back as they now move across to the pit lane or pit wall side and down through towards turn 1. Zafso growing ever closer, looking to retake that P1 back from the Papaya McLaren. To the outside he does indeed go. Will he indeed take the lead in this opening first bend? Coming through out to the first right-hand corner, now through towards turn 2. Through the left, does indeed take the lead back. Back comes Formula Karim on the run down through towards turn 4 as well. Wheel to wheel they'll go once again, and returning the serve will be Formula Karim back in front, leading the race. Zafso has competed more races than anyone in the Creator Series, but has never scored a hasn't scored a pole position in 826 days. And one thing I can tell you about Zafso is that tonight is his 99th race in the series.
Best attendance of any driver, but he could be leaking in another position here. Made heavy weather of his attempts to hold on to first place down into turn 3. And now he's under significant pressure from the Season 3 champion. 2 champions going at it. This is what we love to see. And at the moment, round 1 has gone to the RB of Safso, the Season 1 champion, beating out the Season 3 champion. We haven't spoken too much about the reigning champion at all either. Tim Mullock has been struggling on those medium tyres with that front wing damage. Currently finds himself in 11th spot at the moment, bogged down behind the 2 Hasses.
Yep. Of course, Zafso will be technically running 100 races tonight. Of course, we've got the race 2 coming up later on. So 100 rounds meets 100 races for Zafso here this evening here. And now we round on lap 7 through towards the final corners on turn 14, turn 15. And Formula Karim, who sits just under 0.4 of a second out in front ahead of Zafso, who's now being moved up upon by Tom, who now looks to, remain on the outside. Or should I say the inside, coming into the corner now as Safso will take the lead back. Here comes Tom, though, having a little, very, I would say, very, very busy move down the inside there of Formula Karim. Has lost a little bit of traction, though, on the escape coming out of turn 2 through towards turn 3, turn 4 coming up next. And now has lost a little bit of ground off the front 2 runners as now we witness Tim Marduk coming out of turn 2 and 3 as well on the run down through towards turn 4. The Mercedes now on the outskirts of the top 10. Looking at Undown Lolin Ober at the moment, who's occupying that P10 spot. Still Formula Kai, the only one in the top 10 as well, with a penalty to his name. That is a 3-second stop-go penalty as Meraki looks to come out of the pits as well. Seemingly has punctured his tyres and moving on to a set of the medium compound, which is what Super Noodle Bagel also did when he punctured earlier on. But of course, emphatic, remember, 2 stints on the soft tyres. Scotty looking to puncture his softs as well.
Yeah, and I wonder if some of the drivers have had their brains scrambled by this wildcard. I really do not understand the donut strategy. How you think you're going to make all of that time up? In my book, why would you not just drive normally, do a normal strategic race, and then wait until the tyres puncture? That would be the strategy that I'll be looking at. Nogueira seems to be doing something similar to that as well. He started from 18th, let's not forget, now finds himself in the lead fight, gained 14 places in the opening 8 laps of this Grand Prix.
Definitely seems to me that I think you'd be better off just running as long as possible as you can through the course of the race and then skipping onto another compound. I don't see the benefits in constantly donating in order to lose the grip on the tyres. Now we watch as Formula Karim and Zafso tie up again, heading in towards turn 1, but wheel to wheel, Tom coming into this as well, looking to try and challenge Zafso over that P2 place. Zafso doing a great job to keep the Alpine behind him as they now sprint down through towards turn 4. Formula Kai's got 13 seconds of time penalties against his name now, so it's getting even worse for the Kick Sauber as he now flies through turn 4 himself through towards the middle sector. It's Formula Karim though out in front and in charge, a race winner, of course, multiple times this season, took a victory at Imola all the way back in round 2, race 2, and also went on to win in round 5 for the fan vote as well. A truly magnificent performance. Should I say Monaco? Yeah, he incidentally won with the intermediate pole lap as well to boot. But lap 9 of 29, just over 20 or so laps to go as we now watch in picture as yet again the tyres get squealed coming through the final sector. That is, of course, Scotty Designs trying to lose as much grip as he can. Of course, his teammate, Tim McMahon, currently sat in 12th place, currently on the tail of Blackmere as it stands. As they make their way around the final sector, they've got, like I said, just over 20 or so laps to go before then we reach the checkered flag. Scotty in the pits with a puncture.
And also from a clip-book corner, It's Chocolate has told us that Formula Cream sat at 75% tyre wear, so that just shows us if you drive normally, maybe a little bit aggressively on those soft tyres, you can A, keep yourself in contention, and B, be fighting for the lead of the Grand Prix without having to do some donuts and falling a lap behind. Safso's going to reclaim the lead of this race. Formula Cream going to drop down into potentially 3rd place for the very first time, although he's going to have this one out with Tom going through turns 1, 2 and 3 with the season 3 champion, coming up trumps. Now Cream could be leaking another spot here. Nogueira started 18th on the grid, now finds himself inside the top 3. Does he fancy a little look up the inside of Tom down into turn number 4? Some extensive rear locking, that just putting him offline, and Formula Cream says thank you very much, picking that 3rd place back up.
Yeah, fantastic drive from Nogueira, by the way, starting P18 on the grid and fighting his way back up into the top 4. That is truly magnificent from the Portuguese as he now flies out of turn 8 through towards turn 9. Tom also looking very smart at the moment. Of course, P10 is where he started. Now he's on the echelons of P1, fighting it out with Zafso for the race lead. Zafso putting in a very good performance so far, as now the yellow flag comes out again as we witness yet more carnage coming through the first sector, coming in towards sector 2. No casualties as far as I can see right now as they fly uphill through turn 11 and now up towards turn 12 where they'll start sector 3 here on this lap 10 as we now rejoin Becky B in 10th place, being met with Gwatz in P11. That guy Vince has moved past F1 Alex as well and into 14th place as they now flurry through the latter sector themselves as well. We'll wait and see as to how the other runners up at the very top opt to run this next in, as to whether they're going to opt to try and reduce some of that tyre wear a little quicker than perhaps somebody else. I mean, brake application can have something to do with that, but also use of the throttle, maybe spinning those tyres up as they leave an apex. Here comes Tom now at the inside straight away on Zafso as they come through turn 1. Tom once again unable to get the move one and done. Formula Karim back on the tail now, who's managed to drop Nogueira to a certain degree, but now on the run down through towards turn 4. Karim just having a little look in the mirrors of Tom as they come out of the apex. Now once again Nogueira on Karim's tail as they come through the middle sector now, this time on the latter stages of sector 1, now coming through sector 2 very shortly. Zafso still with the lead as they now beckon in towards turn 8 and then turn 9 to come. But lap 11, it's Zafso still with the lead at the moment. Now in terms of the stops, I believe those that have stopped so far, just looking at it further back, the highest driver on that list is Lolinoba. He is, should we say, a net leader as it stands, because he's already opted for a pit stop, but also he is first of those runners.
100%. I think he was doing a more regulation strategy, let's say, just doing a lot of weaving. Maybe that front wing damage would have helped as well with that understeer that would have been juiced by having half your front wing on the car. This top 4 continuing to battle very, very nicely. We do also have to talk about the element of luck that we're going to see in this wildcard as well, because say you get a puncture coming through turn 1, that is the worst possible scenario that you could get. Rear tyre go through turn 1, that is a full lap that you are going to effectively lose over everybody else. If you puncture your tyre coming around the final corner though, you're going to be absolutely in the money, so keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Lap 12 of 29 now in full swing as Tom makes his way down through towards turn 1, looking to take the race lead here this time. And Zafso dropped into second. Here comes Formula Karim. Also going to look up the inside. Second place on the table for the Papaya McLaren as they come through turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3. But still Zafso able to hold on to second place as they now come down through towards turn 4. Once again, Tom in front, Zafso in second, Karim forced to settle in third place. But just look at the gap now between Racing Chai and Noiguera. It's 1.1 seconds to 1.2. If they can develop this gap and at the same time get those tyres, should we say, brittle and allow them to fall away.
Got a puncture.
And Razin, yes, Razin has got a puncture. So an early call, that's why he fell off. That's where the time had gone. And Razin, yeah, coming out, he's now making his way through the middle sector. The only problem is that he's got to make his way around a majority of the circuit on very slow tyres and a puncture. His delta's going to fall away. Now, is this where those that actually did the donuts closer to the pit lane, is this where they flourish?
We might see it balance out, and that element of luck that has not fallen on the head of Razin Chai could come back to help the likes of Meraki and Infratic, we could say, tumbling through the field. Kareem's got a puncture. Just see him off in the background there. That's worked out a little bit better for him just coming as they exit sector number 2, but he's going to have to do these final couple of corners. So here's the first of this lead group that we had. Razin had just got a little bit disconnected. And he's going to be, 20 seconds at most, at least, clear of that Alpine car. So working out for the McLaren, not for the Alpine.
No, I would say that Karim has got that one absolutely spot on as he comes into the box. So the big risk is stopping before the line. And in proper fashion, obviously, if you breach the delta, then you can be faced with a hefty time penalty. So you've got to be very careful with entering the pits. Obviously, whilst you don't want to forfeit too much time, and not the forfeiting time enough already, as Zafso makes his way through the middle sector with Tom on his tail still. Noiguera is still part of this fight at the very front. They're also towing along Tom 97 and Formula Kai. Remember, Tom 97 starting on that medium tyre is going to be going quite the distance, but obviously you're going to have to be so cautious when coming into that pit lane and making the decision to box on tyres as soon as the puncture rolls around. Formula Karim, though, exiting back out onto the track, and you can see the difference there already. Lolinoba, 12 to 11.5 seconds ahead of Lolinoba in 14th place as it stands. So Karim, I would say, right now is in the pound seats if he pulls this off. He's on fresh medium tyres, and these will go to the end, no problem.
Going to get a lovely undercut as well. And I think Kareem probably is one of the biggest beneficiaries you would see, as I think Gwat's teammate has just got a puncture. Yes, similar place to where Razin got it. So that is not going to be good news for the second McLaren. But Formula Kareem has one of the more aggressive driving styles that I think we've seen on the grid. Almost shades of Fernando Alonso from the Renault days. Very, very aggressive on turning, trying to use that, not necessarily an exploit, but the way that you find the time on this game. This leading trio, leading quintet, still yet to find the puncture. Ben's got a puncture, the TM at Marduk on the medium tyre, so that's slightly earlier than we potentially would have been expecting. A couple of other drivers going slowly around. There is the reigning champion with that punctured tyre, and Formula Cream has already passed him. That could be crucial for the championship.
It certainly would be, because it would mean that Timo Marduk, regardless, now is going to filter right back. Whilst obviously many others have still yet to box, it does mean that he's forfeited time on Formula Karim. Just having the puncture where he did has helped Formula Karim massively in this 100% tyre wear contest, as you could just see there. Very fraught moment between Zafso and Tom coming through the S's at turn 6 and 7. Just as they enter into Sector 2 there, in picture is Timo Marduk, now in the pits. He'll be hoping for a nice clean stop as he ventures inwards, as they now fly downhill and funnel through towards turns 9 and turns 10, getting onto the curb. There is Tom 97. Zafso still out in front though, and at the moment no puncture for him. We can see there Noiguera really vigorously trying to wear his tyres down, looking for that puncture as well. But nothing happening in that top 3. We'll have to wait and see as to who's going to get it first, but Zafso, regardless, in the lead of the race.
Yeah, and this is the section. I'm not surprised that Nogueira's doing a lot of weaving in this final sector. This is desperately where you want these tyres to puncture. Look at him. Oh, Kai's off in the background. I think that's got to be a puncture, maybe a rear puncture for him, because it looked like he exited the corner backwards. Here he comes off the circuit. No, front left for Formula Kai. He's had that in a similar position to Kareem. That is going to be very nice indeed from the likes of Safso, Tom, Nogueira. Going to have to go around once again. Leaking places. GB now finds himself inside the top 5. Kai returning to the pits. GB trying to get that puncture just before the pit lane, but couldn't quite pull it off.
Well, and the key thing about this is that Formula Kai will be on fresh tyres. Obviously, Karim will jump him at this rate, but Kai now moving on to a fresher set of tyres, will be able to put in some really big laps
gone.
now. And Noiguera's lost one as well, so there you go. Noiguera, currently sat in 4th place, has lost tread. There you can see, and he's having some really big problems there as he loses the left rear. Now that is going to be very difficult to control.
I reckon that's probably race over for him. He did such a good job from 18th on the grid, fighting in that lead group, but the worst time to get a puncture, the worst set of tyres to get the puncture on as well. And from what has been an excellent first half of the race, this is going to be a catastrophic coming to fruition now for Nogueira.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a tricky one because, of course, he lost it coming through towards turn 4, which means that he's got 2/3 of the circuit to deal with. And there's another one. That's Zapso. Zapso also picking up a puncture, very nearly losing the car altogether as well, almost in the same fashion where Noiguera very nearly lost it altogether too. Now Tom has got the race lead. Now the question is, when does his puncture arrive? He'll be hoping sooner rather than later, ideally right now at this portion of circuit. Tom 97 also there too, just in behind with company there from the Kick Sauber that sits in the back. I think that might be F1 Alex actually, who's part of this as they now flurry down through towards turn 1 once again. Still no punctures for the top 2. It would be cruel as far as they're concerned for them to have one this time, but through past Tom goes Tom 97, the 2 Toms at the very top of the shop now as we watch as more of the cars make their way through the final sector as they exit now. And I think there might have been another puff of smoke there coming through turn 1. Now is that a puncture for Tom right now? No, just I think he had a bit of a difficult moment coming through turn 2.
Yeah, and Safso having the same problem that Nogueira had. He's still in the final sector, already been passed by Lolinoba, already been passed by Formula Cream. Meraki is now sitting in a net 3rd place, so his strategy of trying to burn them up as early as possible. Tom's
there
gone.
we go.
That's another driver with a rear puncture in the 1st sector. He's got a front left as well. He's got 2 punctures. This is surely going to be race over for Tom.
No.
Oh, you have to feel for him. Heart goes out for Tom Biener. That is race over. I find it very hard to believe that he's going to be able to get that back to the pits. We have the virtual safety car, but I think Tom's done now.
Yeah, getting that car back to the pits is going to be very, very difficult. Now he's got to try and self-right himself and get himself out of that off-track position, move back onto the circuit, and then make his way around the rest of it in order to get back to the pits. That is going to be heartbreak for the Alpine. And currently still stagnant there on the side of the road. Not ideal at all. Tom has been disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location, which is going to be an utter disaster for him in terms of this race. No points will be scored for Tom this time around. Tom 97 still out in front here in this moment in time, looking and waiting for that puncture to enter the fold for him as well. Still yet to have one, but remember, he is on that medium tyre. They do go quite a lengthy distance, but I've got to say, with everything that's going on here, as the VSC now is removed, it gets back underway. We're under green flag conditions, DRS now enabled. We have got Blackmere with a drive-through penalty as well. Drama across the grid, and obviously this is where the tyre wildcard is coming into play. Many of the drivers really struggling with it, and obviously if it does puncture outside of that Sector 3 position, we've got more cars coming in. Blackmere now in the pits as well. Obviously, it's very difficult to manage. Strategy goes totally out the window.
Oh, and I've just seen Nogueira got teleported out of the pit lane as he came down pit road, so he is still on that punctured tyre. So similar situation for Tom. His race has been absolutely ruined. GB is now in the pit, so I wonder if he's got that punctured. There is the stranded Scarlet Ferrari, and this is not good news at all for Nogueira. And this is just, it's the unpredictability, isn't it? This throwing a spanner in the works for a lot of drivers, and when you have a little bit of a game funny like Nogueira clearly has, that is, race absolutely run through no fault of his own.
Yeah, 19th place and unable now to funnel himself anywhere near the front. Obviously, a disaster for the Ferrari team as a whole at the moment because they've got Infratic down in 16th as well, and they really need some big points in the championship as we're here on lap 17 of 29. Tom 97 coming through the final corners as well. Remember, still yet to have his puncture, still yet to have his pit stop, and now heading down through towards turn 1. Will continue. He's currently got a gap of 19 seconds. Karim has already made his stop. So I tell you what, I mean, if Tom 97 does get a puncture at an awkward position here, Tom, there's a very big opportunity here that Karim could still catch Tom 97 here. But you've got to remember, Tom will be on better tyres. There's Blackmere, who is currently making his way around the circuit. There was a very close moment there with the Aston Martin. I think that was GB68 coming through. just around the final, coming around the final sector. Very, very tight between them. Let's move across and have a little chat with Tom Wilkinson. Tom, over to you. Oh, not Tom, sorry, Josh.
Yeah, well, we've got quite a few clips here to look through from the start of the race. It was very chaotic at the beginning. First and foremost, coming to the end of lap 1, we saw a bit of an incident with Fabio down at turn number 1. So he's under pressure here from the Williams behind, already going for the overtake here. He's burnt all of his battery on this opening lap, so a bit vulnerable here, heading down towards the first corner. So he's just been passed by Becky B, and unfortunately heading into the braking zone, just gets it a little bit wrong here. And I think, oh no, it was the cars in front. Yeah, gets collected by the Williams. They were concertinaing in front of him, and he picked up some damage there. We saw some more damage as well here. This incident involving quite a few of our leading drivers, which saw them pick up a lot of damage. Formula Karim leading out this moment, heading down towards turn 10. Safso putting a bit of pressure on behind, and then Razin just gets the braking wrong in towards turn number 10. Picks up the damage, and there was quite a big pile up behind as well, as you can see from this POV, and we can see it from Formula Kai's POV a couple cars further behind as well, heading in towards the braking zone. You see the contact there, and not really anywhere they can go. They all just end up piling in and picking up damage. Really unfortunate for them. I think Safso is one of the few cars that didn't actually pick up any damage there. We had this incident as well. The Aston Martins, I think, came together up in front. This was Scotty Designs, his POV as he made his way through. Oh, full screen? Oh, full screen, sorry. Yeah, my bad on that. Yeah, so it was a bit unfortunate for the Mercedes, as you can see. Just the Aston Martins, they came together, and yeah, unfortunate contact between them. This was it from that guy Vince's POV. He was fighting with teammate Mardik down towards turn 1 and gaining on the back of the Mercedes. His teammate a little bit further behind. I think he has a bit of a look to the inside. In towards turn 1, goes a bit deep, makes contact with the McLaren, and then they spin around on the exit. It's just really unfortunate there. Scotty, wrong place, wrong time, gets caught up. And just the final thing from me, just to show how devastating the rear punctures are. The amount of time Safso was losing in this final sector, you can see how slowly he's having to go to stay in control of the car, and even then the car just spins on its own. It's really unfortunate. Getting that rear puncture instead of the front, like we saw Karim pick up, it's really unfortunate for him.
Yeah, very, very tricky. Obviously, this is where the wildcard really does brutalise the drivers out on track. If you don't get the puncture in Sector 3, really, you're a sitting duck, Tom.
Yeah, especially if it's a rear puncture. Then your race is almost over. Nogueira down in 19th. He has finally managed to get shot of those destroyed tyres, but 90 seconds off the back of P18. Tom 97 is continuing to soldier on, though 15 seconds clear of Formula Cream in second place. Lolanova's done an excellent job as well to find himself in third, although could be seeing a late charge from the green machine of GB on 2-lap-old soft tyres compared to the 9-lap-old mediums that Lolanova is currently sat on.
Yeah, Formula Kai, there he is at the moment, 4 laps on his tyres and 6/10 away. GB in fourth, obviously on the fresher soft compound, 5.5 seconds away from Lolanova. We're still awaiting, obviously, for some tyre swaps for Tom 97. Karim and Lolanova already changing theirs as Rasin Chai moves ahead of Meraki, who's been on a lengthy stint on his medium tyres. We've only got Tom 97 left to box. Tom obviously unable to even take his stop. He was the only other one not to come into the pits for a tyre change because he retired from the race or got disqualified at the very least, as they now flurry down through towards turn 11 once again. There is Tom 97, your race leader, 13 seconds now, 12.9. The gap is coming right down, and Tom 97 really needs to try and get those tyres off. Obviously, you can just see them there weaving a little bit, trying to instigate a tyre stop right now. Goes up and tries to lock up intentionally, I think, coming through the final few corners on this lap as well, coming in towards turn 14 now very shortly. If it could happen now, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. To have better tyres than to take on Karim for the final 9 laps of the race, I'm sure will be favourable. You can just see him there vigorously getting these tyres worked up and trying to vie over to the pit lane. He wants to box now, but he can't, Tom.
And now he's going to have to really baby those tyres for the next 90 seconds or so. The gap coming down by 5 seconds on the previous visit. Tom 97 could still get himself a podium if he has a little bit of lady luck come with the position that his tyres blow up. So this is going to be a little bit sketchy for him as he comes through the first sector. Going to have to be very, very careful. Maybe just lose a little bit of time here so he benefits later on in this lap and then can try and get that puncture later on. We're hearing from Clipbook Corner, 86 front left, 92 rear left.
Yeah. He's on the brink, but at the moment they just won't pop for him, unfortunately. Coming through towards turns 8. Turn 9 and 10 coming up very shortly as well. There's still Tom 97 at the moment at the head of the order, of course. A consistent race winner in the past in the Creator Series. Now we have yet another pit stop. This is Meraki coming in for a stop. No doubt looking for a fresher set of soft tyres just to bring an end to his race. He's one of a few drivers who have actually made double stops here so far in this race. Obviously seeing that he might be better off with a faster set to see out the rest of this race. We'll see whether that does pay off for him. Obviously, for many of the drivers, it may have because they might have popped earlier than expected. It might have left them wanting for the remainder of the race. But we'll wait and see. Here again is Tom 97 really looking to pop those tyres now. Remember, is on 90-ish% on all tyres so far, and trying vigorously to make it happen. But they're refusing to go for him, and it means he's got yet another lap to do. Well, Tom, I get the feeling he could yet find it in the first 2 sectors.
Well, I think he's now 99% rear left, so I would not be surprised if this goes pop down into turn number 1, watching for that Williams to start really struggling.
Yes.
There it is. We see it live. The worst possible spot, and I always think that is the position where you've got to do the donuts. Off into the gravel goes the race leader. Tom 97 could be suffering the same fate that ruined the afternoons of not just Safso, but Nagera as well, as Formula Kareem soldiers on, and it's going to take a big, big chunk out of Tiamat Malik's championship lead.
Yeah, and that will very, very certainly take Tom 97 out of this race equation as well. Karim has got 9 laps on his medium tyres. He will surely go on to become a race winner once again. Tom 97, the other one's lost. Yeah, he's sunk into the gravel trap. That will surely be, much like Tom, a retirement. That will be a disqualification for Tom 97, obviously being beached off into a gravel. That will be recorded, though, as a DNF at the end of the race. Obviously, nothing he can do about that. He is in the gravel trap, and he has lost more than 1 tyre already. Now you can see the disqualification from the session. Parked in a dangerous location. He will not be making it to the checkered flag here in this race. We have got 7 or so laps to go, and it's Formula Karim, Lolinoba, the 2 up at the very front again that met. Coming into the final sector at Miami, they were fighting over the race win. Eventually it went Lolinoba's way. Karim, though, has, of course, taken plenty in the past, and he's second in the championship. And this would be a big, big result for him in terms of that championship too, because Tiamat Malik sits in 6th place. So more points going Karim's way should he cross the start-finish line. Currently sat 17 seconds to the good, so he is in a very good position. And Lolinoba at risk here because GB's on his tail here, Tom.
100%. He's going to pull out to the right-hand side of the circuit, and this should be very, very easy work. Through goes GB up ahead of the Haas. I think Formula Kai is going to follow suit as well. Is he satisfied with just the 1 overtake? It looks like he is. Happy to slot in behind GB. So from 2nd down into 4th, Lolinoba now struggling on those ailing medium tyres. There's an opportunity for somebody like Razin Chai, somebody like Tiamat Malik to take chunks of time out of the Haas as well. Lolly needs to make sure he doesn't count his chickens just yet, because he could lose even more places if those tyres continue to degrade at the rate they have done.
Yeah, certainly can. Coming through the middle sector. GB obviously in 2nd place. That's some great results so far this season. Not the first time he would have finished in 2nd either. We look back at Australia at round 8, where of course he went on to finish 2nd on that occasion too. As also we mentioned the race victories that came earlier on in the season. It's been a long time though since that last victory in round 5 in the fan vote. Would love to get one again, but obviously with too much of a gap to close on Formula Karim to pull that off. 16.3 seconds he's got to find, but he is on fresh soft tyres. But I don't think they're going to quite have enough in the locker in order to bring him to the very front. And coming uphill through the very turbulent final sector, coming through turn 13 and 14. There is scope here, though, for Formula Kai to get past and maybe even lodge over 3 seconds on GB, given the tyres that he's on, because he's only got 8 laps on those mediums, so they will surpass GB's softs.
100%. Still an opportunity for everything to change. Razin has taken 2 seconds out of Lolinoba on this lap alone, so the Haas really starting to struggle, and I think he's diving into the pits. Yes, he is, so doesn't fancy those tyres anymore, and now that's just going to flip things on their head. He's going to be on the soft tyres and trying to make a late charge back up towards potentially the Alpine and the Mercedes of Tiamat Malik, who has done a fairly decent recovery job. Haven't spoken too much about the reigning champion, have we? But currently holding 6th position. That will become 5th as he passes Lolinoba in the pits, and he is minimised the damage, so that one stage was looking pretty severe. That's not going to be too bad for him, and he should hold on to the championship lead going into race 2.
Certainly will. There's Tim Marduk up into 5th as well as it stands ahead of Becky B. It's 8.9 though for Benjamin Daly to find on Rasin Chai. At the moment, the yellow flag has come out again, and that is Benjamin Daly, I think. No, it's not. It's Scotty Designs, who is routed to the rear. He's currently tucked in behind the Williams at Becky B. I was going to say Tim Marduk is ahead of the Williams car, currently sat in the top 5, but Scotty, who opted for the donut run at the very start. No doubt he's going to have plenty for the meme recap, I'm sure, come the end of this very round. Let's go across and have a little chat to Josh, because I think he's on the side. Maybe he can give us some insight into how the tyres are performing. Josh, what's the latest?
I'm really not good at this, am I? We've been seeing quite a few punctures in the past few laps. The tyres now looking pretty decent. We're just going to have a quick look here. Tom 97, his punctures. You can see just quickly starting, he's got 99% on this rear left tyre. So it's already really not an ideal position starting the lap here. His tyres are not looking great, so he was really hoping for that puncture as he came down the pit straight. But he picks it up here as he comes into turn 2. Losing control of the rear, and if you look, his front tyre 94% as well. That was another crucial one for him, because now as he's making his way down, struggling to keep control of the car, he's now at risk of picking up the puncture on the front left as well on this same lap. Also his rear right is also at risk, which would have been very unfortunate too. But you see now with that slide there through turn 4 as he tries to control the car, the front left is now also punctured. And as soon as you have 2 punctured tyres, your car starts scraping along the floor. Your car's at a bit of an angle, and you just can't steer. It's just going straight, even though he's trying to steer. He has no control over the car. It's just getting dragged along by the floor, and he ends up in the gravel, unfortunately.
Yeah, his day's done. Josh, thank you for the insight there. Tom Martinez obviously gutted that he could not take the race win off the back of today. Formula Crew inheriting that lead back as a consequence of that moment where the tyres did puncture. Unfortunately for Tom 97, it's dismay, Tom Wilkinson.
Yes, not good news at all, but he obviously will get a second bite of the cherry and will be starting on the front row for race number 2. It'll be an all-Tom front row. Won't that be fun? Won't it, everybody? I'm looking forward to that one. We'll have some big names starting at the front as well. Nogueira, the other one, starting 18th, or finishing 18th, as it looks with that 20-second penalty, but should be starting from 3rd place. Still a battle going on the track for 2nd position between GB and Formula Kai, but still those 3 seconds hanging over the head of the Kicksau. But they're taking time out of Formula Cream as well. The gap was around 16 or 17 seconds, come down to 13, but I don't think Cream's going to be sweating bullets at any stage.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. We are getting some insight. The Rasin is 70% left, front left. He could still get a second puncture of the day as well. He's operating in 4th place and trying to leapfrog his way past blue flag cars. We just see here, it looks like, from the face of it. Now, I'm not sure if that's Infratic, who's in front of him, just making his life a little bit of a misery. But at the moment, Rasin Chai operating in 4th. No, I think it might be Nogueira, actually, heading down through towards turn 4. And yes, it indeed is, as they head down in towards turn 4. And indeed, Nogueira giving way to, of course, the Alpine of Rasin Chai as they make their way through the first into the middle sector once again. But Chai could yet face a prospect of not even finishing inside this 4th place spot and losing yet a little bit more. That'd be a disaster. Puncturing twice in one race.
I mean, that would definitely go down as a record, wouldn't it? And Lolinoba currently about 3 seconds a lap quicker than the Alpine, already caught up to the back of Tim Marduk to try and get 5th position back. Some swapping going on here. I think Rasin's trying to almost get dragged along by Nogueira here with the DRS from the Ferrari in front, but they're not doing it the most efficiently. Obviously, Nogueira's going to be told by the gate to get the hell out of the way, otherwise he's going to be getting even more penalties applied to his name. Battle for 2nd continues to rage on. 2.5 tenths between the 2 green cars, 2 different teams, of course. Down under 12 seconds between themselves and Formula Cream. But with 3 to go, the McLaren is comfortable out in front. And it's Lolinoba that we've got to watch. He could still get back up into 4th position here. And he's alongside Tim Marduk, and he has got past him.
Yeah, certainly has, and that's great news for Lolinoba, the Italian, after winning back at Japan. We've also got Formula Kai up into 2nd as well, ahead of GB, so Benjamin Daly now left wanting, and Lolinoba's got far better tyres than Tim Marduk. 12 laps applied to the Aussies Mercedes at the moment, and Meraki might yet even catch him as well, because he's only 4.6 behind and on much younger tyres as well. So I tell you what, Tim Marduk could be in free fall here.
100%. I'm just trying to find what the pace of Becky B in 8th place as well is. 33.6 on the previous lap, so a bit slower than Ben at the moment. So 7th place at worst it should be for the reigning champion. That would, I believe, still keep him in the lead of the championship despite Kareem winning the race with 2.5 laps to go. Ben has very bad tyre wear, obviously on those soft tyres. If we can have a look at how long he's been on the floor, that would maybe give us a really nice picture of it as switches. Yeah, 13 laps. Well, that was the time that people were starting to get punctures in the first stint. So he could be yet befallen by the same fate that could reach Razin Chai's door.
That would be a disaster. Obviously, he's in the points at the moment. We do pay out for 15th place as well, all the way down from P1 to P15 in the point system in the Creator Series. So he would earn a decent amount of points towards the championship. But if he was to essentially puncture one of those tyres, or God forbid, maybe even two, that would see him go out the same way as Tom97 and Tom did earlier on in this race. We're on the penultimate lap now, but Formula Karim is currently holding his own at the very top of the shop, already a 4 times winner this season, looking for his 5th this campaign as well. So very much on trend to achieve that. Formula Kai losing that 2nd place back again from GB. So it looks like, despite the better tyres being the mediums at this moment in comparison to GB doing enough to hold station and at least keep Kai at bay. And I suppose the one saving grace for GB is that Kai does have that 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, comfortable in 2nd position. GB, it should be a nice return to form after a hat-trick of slightly disappointing races, it has to be said. So I think he'll be absolutely delighted with that, especially after qualifying. Let's not forget, starting down in 19th position. He's on course to have to start from P19 again, but if this race is anything to go by, that should not faze him one bit. Just under 3 seconds now, the gap between Timo Malik and Meraki. The Red Bull coming very, very quickly up to the rear of that Mercedes, as Lolin Ober's also put one over on Razin Chai. We expected that to happen. Absolutely rapid on those soft tyres, and Razin does fall back behind the Haas, and Lolin Ober reclaiming that 4th position that he had before he made that late pit stop.
Yeah, it was only 4 seconds behind Razin Chai, so that very quickly got whittled down. Meraki also starting to really go to town on the delta between himself and Timo Malik. He was also 4 seconds outside the spectrum, and now getting closer and closer, within 2 seconds of the Aussie in 6, as we now watch as Formula Karim now flies down through towards the line to start the final lap of the race here at Bahrain. And it looks like that even Karim might be even in puncture territory as well, so you never know. A late twist in the tail could be on the cards. We know that Karim, though, is out in front, 6.6 to the good. GB is trying to get himself closer to our race leader, but over 1 lap that just solitary remains here in this race at Sakir. It looks like it's going to be Karim to lose here in this moment in time. 4 wins so far, all achieved in this campaign. Looking for win number 5. And on top of that, his 6th podium as well. It's been such a spirited performance once again from the championship contender, looking to take on reigning champion Benjamin Daly, Tim Marduk as well for this season's crown in Season 9. And on the 100th round of asking in the Creator Series, it could yet lead to his 1st title. We'll have to wait and see.
And this is a very good statement to make, especially with the almost disappointing race that Tim Malik has had. I don't think he's had brilliant pace either. He is about to get gobbled up by Meraki and drop down into 7th position. So that is going to be a significant chunk of his championship lead taken out. Gwatz has got, I believe that's a 2nd puncture maybe coming out of the final corner, or he might just be waiting for Formula Cream to come round so they can cross the line in unison. He's about 3 seconds a lap slower than GB at the moment. 1 more lap, and that Aston Martin may have been breathing down the neck of the McLaren and putting some significant pressure on him, but it's Augusta weekend, and for the wildcard, Formula Cream has been the master here at Bahrain. He may be struggling on his tyres, but he rounds the final corner to win race number 1 at Sakir, and that is a huge, huge statement for the driver, 2nd in the championship, because he finishes race 1 at the top of the tree.
Formula Karim, 5 times a race winner this season. What a tremendous effort, and that is his 5th Creator Series F1 race win as well to boot. GB coming home in 2nd place for the 2nd time this campaign as well. Last time, of course, managing to achieve it at Australia in round 8. Well, he's managed to take a 2nd one this time. Yet another podium going his way. And Lolin Ober apparently running out of fuel, and he was in a great position, especially on his soft tyres as well. But now, in free fall down the order, that'll move Becky B into 7th place as well. So well done, Becky. Oh no, Lolin Ober did get across the line. Tim Marduk will finish in 6th, though. Will not be taken on by Lolin Ober. Of course, we did see Lolly move ahead of the Aussie, but Blackmere coming now up towards the line. He'll finish in 9th place, with Zafso making it 2 RBs inside the top 10, round in the final corner this time on his medium compound of tyre to round off his race. and into the top 10 he will fly, with Scott Taylor still to come round. We've also got more cars coming through in the distance. This is the Red Bull, I believe, of Super Noodle Bagel. I'm not quite sure. Might be Meraki actually coming through, getting past some of the back markers as we now watch Scott Taylor come across the line, taking the checkered flag. We've got F1 Alex as well also coming through. That guy Vince will be next, 5.2 away from F1 Alex, but will cross the line to take the checkered flag himself. And then Gwatz, of course, we saw Karim, his teammate, managing to take and scoop up the race victory here at Bahrain. A massive achievement, like we said, number 5 to his list. And in the meantime, obviously we will wait till after the stands. We'll obviously catch up with Josh later on as we wrestle things through. We've had another moment. Gwatz crossing the line, indeed, in fantastic style. Not a great day for him, but a great day for his teammate. 14th place, so points scored for Gwatz. I'm sure he'll be very happy with that indeed. Driver of the day has been given to GB 68 on this occasion, but it certainly was an interesting affair. Tyres puncturing across this Bahrain circuit, leading to chaos carnage, that's for sure. We lost both Toms. Tom Martinez, who would have been your favourite, no doubt, going into this race to open up tonight's round here in Sakir. But it is, of course, Karim with his 5th win, and he will raise the trophy aloft, and that points gap does shrink indeed between himself and Tiermet Marduk. What a moment in the series. 25 points going his way. Your victor here at Bahrain, Formula Karim. GB finishing 2nd. Formula Kai 3rd. Rasin Shai in 4th. Meraki 5th. Tiermet Marduk in 6th. Lolin Ober in 7th. Becky B in 8th. Blackmere in 9th. Sasso 10th. Scott Taylor in 11th. We then have F1 Alex in 12th. Dat Guy Vince in 13th. Gwatz in 14th. Infratic finishes in the last points paying position in 15th place. Scotty in 16th. Super Noodle Bagel in 17th. Noguera in 18th place. 2 laps down as well. Top 97, we lost him, didn't we, to a disqualification, and Tom also disqualified after being unable to continue running after both or 2 tyres or more punctured earlier on in the race. And very unfortunate one for both drivers, because they were in the pound seats as well for a race win here earlier on tonight, so no points scored for them both. But hey, they'll have another chance moving through to race 2 that we've got coming up in our Bahrain double header this evening. Now, just quickly, we'll move across to Josh Richards just to give us some more details. Josh, what's new?
Oh, he's still muted, Josh.
Yeah, we'll come back to Josh Richards, everybody, obviously having some technical issues of his own. But Tom, yeah, chaotic, bit different. Obviously, we've had Styrofoam. We've had a few interesting wildcards in the past. A few drivers dealing with it better than others. Obviously, on this occasion, it wasn't so great for Tom 97 and Tom, obviously, from the Alpine team. They're going to look to bounce back, though. They'll have a great chance moving through to the second race that we got coming up later on.
100%, and it was a fascinating dynamic, wasn't it? There was a lot of luck involved, you know, also skill, trying to time maybe where you puncture the tyres. I think almost for Tom 97, he probably would have benefited from going for the donuts coming out of the final corner rather than losing both of those tyres in the first set. So maybe that's a little bit of strategy that could have been employed by somebody like Tom, maybe in Fratic as well, could have gone for that later on in the Grand Prix. But fascinating, and Formula Karim was almost head and shoulder clear of everybody else. He was maybe sweating slightly more than he would have hoped right at the end, but he has made a huge statement, and that's a big chunk taken out of Tiermet Marduk's championship lead, and the pressure now switches from the chaser to the chasee.
It certainly does. Let's go back towards Josh and see what's new. Josh, are you able to... Are you unmuted?
Yes, I am this time.
Hey.
OVS didn't want to play ball. But yeah, looking back on the last lap here, Lolin Ober currently sits in 4th, but he's actually quite a way down on the fuel. He ran out of fuel at turn 13. I'm not sure if it even was before that, because the clip wouldn't even go back that far. But he's losing a lot of time to the cars behind. Sits in P4 here, but just defenseless, really. He has no power, effectively, for this final sector of the lap. And unfortunately for him, it cost him 3 positions on the run towards the line. So many drivers struggling with the tyre, where I think some of them just forgetting about the fuel entirely, just kind of slipped their mind. And ultimately, that's cost Lolly 3 positions.
Yeah, disaster for Lolin Ober. Obviously, the fuel loss was quite a dramatic moment. We did speak as well about some of the drivers failing with the tyre wear as well towards the end. It was interesting. Nearly 2 sets of punctures through that Bahrain race. Massive moment. Imagine the calamity, especially if you're Formula Karim, to have built up that lengthy lead margin, Tom, and then had a double puncture to end off the race.
It's going to make things interesting for race 2, though, because that almost pushes us towards a 2-stop strategy being the one to go for. I think that could be fascinating, whether we do see split strategies, people trying to hold on for the 1-stop. We might see a couple more safety cars that could help them out with tyre life. But if we do have a split between 1 and 2 stops, I think that is going to make for a really, really enthralling second race, especially with the quick guys coming through the field.
The wildcard isn't applied to the second race either, so there we are. It's going to be left to simply pace. So if you are Tom and you're Tom 97, this is kind of your backyard now, essentially, and you've got the front row locked out. As far as Tom 97 is concerned, it's back-to-back front rows here at Bahrain coming through to tonight. Let us know what your reactions are as well, folks. I can already see many of you are there in the live chats and have been responding to everything that has been going on. Where is Alex Gillen? I hear a few of you ask. Well, not racing here tonight, I can tell you that. But still, nonetheless, we'll look forward to seeing him back in the near future. Yeah, we'll bring in some drivers in for interviews as well in a moment as well. So bear with us, folks. We will be bringing some people in. We do have some activity. Someone's come into the box. Let's have a look. Formula Kai, I think, is with us. Kai, warm welcome to the Series commentary box. Yeah, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. A bit of a hectic race. What was the reaction to the puncture wildcard? I got to say, there was a few hectic moments. How did you get on?
Fantastic. I had I had a bit where I was really going through it. I was thinking, oh man, the wildcard did me in again, because I had damage and a 10-second penalty. But after the pit, like, I came out in P5 and I was fighting for the podium. I couldn't believe it.
Unbelievable, right? I mean, what seemed interesting, something that myself and Tom picked up on, was where the punctures were taking place. So, I mean, if you were in, sectors 1, sectors 2, obviously your day was near enough done. I mean, if you had a puncture on one tyre, then it was likely you were going to get another. But then, of course, you move into sector 3. If you get a puncture there, it's not so bad because you're right next to the pit lane. And I think that's what gave Karim that lead advantage, didn't it?
Did he get it going into the pits or something? That must have been insane luck. But he had really good pace overall as well.
Yeah, it wasn't quite in the pits. It was more going around turn 13 at the top of the hill, and then he kind of turned around and then went off track. But it was the right place to have it because he only had 2 corners left to take. So it kind
I
of
had an exact same spot.
Yes, you did. We did report on that. But
yeah, I think the race is starting.
Yeah. Oh, we're moving across the. Yeah, we're going to move across.
Yeah. All right.
Kai, we'll catch you later on. All the best.
Yes.
Best of luck.
Thank you. All right, gotta go.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Formula Kai, everyone, about to get stuck in. Tom, take us through the starting grid, sir.
At 200 times speed, I think is the best way to put it. First and second in race 1 are going to be starting from 19th and 20th in race 2, and it'll be Formula Cream and GB on the back row. Moving forward, Formula Kai, as we just briefly spoke to, from 18th. Razin Chai, decent recovery from where he had his puncture, going from 17th after finishing 4th. Meraki, Tia McMahon, 2 former champions, third last row, 15th and 16th, looking to fight their way through the field. Modenoba, hopefully he doesn't run out of fuel this time as he crosses the line. Becky B, very strong debut for himself, starting from 13th after finishing 8th. And then the 2 RB cars just outside the top 10. Blackmere, very impressive performance. Saf so solid as ever. Scott Taylor was pretty quiet, has to be said. The second Haas driver, F1 Alex, ending that run of 6 consecutive DNFs. That guy Vince. Worst race of the season, I think it's fair to say. Tripping over his teammate. Difficult one for him, but he has a decent starting position alongside Gwatz. Infratic went for the donut strategy. Did not work, but he does start high up the grid in 6th. Scotty Designs going for a similar tactic. Finds himself inside the top 5. And we get into the 2 drivers that had a little bit of strife. Super Noodle Bagel, 17th in the race, starting from 4th. And Nagara, not good news, had a little bit of a game bug, but it leaves him 3rd on the grid, of course. And on the front row, it is Tom Square. Tom 97 and Tom Bean are both disqualified after 2 punctures, but they now find themselves residing 1st and 2nd, and with a huge opportunity for big points.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. It's a double Tom affair at the very top of the order as we now head through to Bahrain once more. Obviously, a very exciting race in prospect, and this time there won't be the puncture wildcard to worry about. It's just a straight fight between all the drivers out on track. The big question is who's going to lead heading in towards turn 1. That is everybody's question. Both of them have such brilliant pace. We talk about Tom Martinez and his exploits in sim racing, competing, heading through in, obviously taking part in PSGL, not to mention WOR in the past, and a WOR race winner, as I alluded to. Not only that, though, Tom, a former Pro Draft driver that was selected near enough for the 2019 championship.
Yeah. Very, very good credentials for the pair of them. I think Tom97 also picked up a podium in PSGL fairly recently here at Bahrain after qualifying 16th or 17th. So he's got some good recent form around this circuit. Looked pretty competitive, but I have to say Tom Biener looked absolutely rapid before he got those double punctures. I think he's going to be feeling very, very confident as he continues to acclimatise, get more and more comfortable with that epic sim rig that he's got himself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw it in action a few times, and we definitely saw it in the wet. I think it made a huge difference when we actually, took on Suzuka, and obviously feeling everything around the car, I think, made all the difference because he was able to, I suppose, to transpose where perhaps there were certain frailties in the car, certain frailties where in certain portions of the track, and that is certainly where the extra force feedback does aid you, I suppose, in controlling the Alpine around the circuit. So yeah, I mean, fantastic job for him, and obviously looking to come back here and taking a victory. Of course, Tom, someone who has won championships in the past in this series, was season 3 champion in the Creator Series not too long ago, and has also been part of the very successful Alpine outfit. And both he and Razin have had immense success, both of them champions in this series in the past. As we now undertake the formation lap, they get underway, Tom, as they head down towards turn 1.
Yeah, a little bit of respite for the drivers, it has to be said, after having the formation lap switched off. I can already see an Alpine at a slightly peculiar angle. I think that is Razin Chai right at the back of the pack, but looks like he's managed to get going once more. As we said previously, if you have just joined us for race 2, the wildcard does not apply to this Grand Prix, so it will be a standard soft medium or medium soft race. Hard tyres are banned as well, and I say standard soft medium or medium soft race. With the tyre wear that we saw, we could potentially see a 2-stop strategy be quite viable, as Tim at Marduk, GB and Formula Cream have all disqualified themselves already, and Super Noodle Bagel joining them on the starting blocks as well.
Yep, now as they head through down towards turns 8, furiously warming up those tyres ready for the race start. That will be certainly the priority. Tim Malik, though, will be one of those disqualification drivers. Formula Career, both championship contenders, going to be starting without the formation lap. But a lot of that is centred around tyre wear, isn't it, Tom?
100%, and it's a hugely difficult track for tyre, isn't it? We've seen it on the game, we've seen it in real life as well. We also saw it in practice for the real F1 yesterday. The amount of degradation the drivers were getting, in particular on those rear tyres, was obscene. I think it has to be said. It almost takes us back to sort of China-esque from 10 years ago, where the tyres could barely do sort of 4 or 5 laps without absolutely imploding. F1 2013, I think it was, where the tyres would just absolutely shred around a circuit like China.
Yeah, absolutely right. As now we watch Tom head down through towards the final couple of corners here in this formation lap phase. The Alpine currently holding all the cards up at the very top, obviously after the double puncture that he sustained. Tom97 suffering the same fate as well in that prior race. We also have Noigueira sat in behind them as well. Who's going to win the battle on the road down through towards turn 1? It's going to be a vicious fight, I am sure. Scotty Designs also with a top 5 start. We've got Infratic also in the mixer too, looking for big points. Ferrari have a great chance here because Noigueira also makes up this top-end fight with Datko Vince as well down in 8th place as well. Scott Taylor further down in 10th. Zafso, Season 1 champion, starting P11 just outside the scope of that top 10. And Becky B, obviously, occupying that 13th spot with Lolin Ober for company too on the 7th row of the grid as we now await the lights to go red here at Sakir to decide the fate of the second race here in the EA Sports F1 Creator Series. Here we go. All 5 lights are indeed lit, and it will be pedal to the metal, and it's go, 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 and Infratic has actually picked up a drive-through penalty right at the very start. Got the leap of his life, but just a little bit too quick as they head down through towards turn 1, and it's Tom who leads the way. Tom97 in second, further back the 2 Ferraris, now currently sat 3 and 4, but we know that Noigueira will hold third with Infratic coming into the pit surely in the next lap or so in order to serve that drive-through penalty. Quats in 5th, Super Noodle Bagel in 6th place as well. Sapso down in 7th as they peel through. Heading through towards the first sector, Zapso got a brilliant start. Remember, P11 at the start of the race. He's already inside the top 10 and in P7 as Scott Taylor blasts past Scotty, who has fallen through a fleet of places as they fight and tussle. Heading through turn 8, there was what looked to be a kick sabber. I think that must have been F1 Alex going wide coming out of turn 8, but it's Tom97 who takes the lead back, and he will now lead the train through towards turn 11 with Tom in second, Noigueira still in third.
That leading duo, though, just starting to scamper off into the distance slightly, nearly put a second between themselves and the two Ferrari cars. Are going to use the B word. That was a bit of a bottle job from Infratic, it has to be said, from 6th on the grid. Going to find himself firmly in last place in a couple of laps' time once he serves that drive-through penalty. Blackmere, not sure if anybody picked it up, did have a little bit of front wing damage, so there must have been a skirmish around there somewhere. And that second RB, after his teammate got off to a fly, he has come off a cropper.
Yeah, coming through to the final corners now. Infratic will very shortly make his way into the pits. I'm sure whether he'll do it this lap, we'll soon find out. Obviously, he must serve that drive through, otherwise he will be disqualified as they now make their way down. Yes, indeed, coming into the pits to serve that drive through penalty as they now make their way down towards turn 1. Tom 97 in front and in charge here on lap 2 of 29. Tom now reduced to P2 as now there's more fighting further back. Zafso inside the top 5 and has broken down Super Noodle Bagel, who remains in 6th. That guy Vince also looking to make his way through. Looking to blast past the Bagel, and into 6 he goes. A hole right through the middle of a piece of bread indeed for that guy Vince to take P6 away. And following through, Scott Taylor looking to add his Haas into the mixer as well as they come through the first sector, in through to sector 2. And now coming out of turn 8, very soon into turns 9 and 10. Still Taylor wheel to wheel as they look to tussle over that 7th place spot. Super Noodle Bagel with the better line coming down through towards turns 9 and 10 and will retain that place as they come down into the very, very tight left-hander, where of course you do have to be so cautious when applying those brakes. And it looks like someone's had a moment further back, and indeed they have. Scotty Designs down in 19th place and has fallen behind F1 Alex.
Should just about keep yourself within the 1 second window, though, so all's well that ends well despite losing a couple of places. And as we anticipated, the two Toms have scampered away, but look at Gwatz up in 3rd place. Very good start for himself. Nagera on the mediums, leaking a couple of places on this lap with Saf. So 7 spots gained in the opening couple of laps. That is a champion's drive if I've ever seen it. But Gwatz holding 3rd at the moment is, of course, a multiple race winner in F2. So there are some decent credentials for the McLaren driver. And you would imagine if he stays towards the front come the end of the race, he will be trying to help out his teammate, who is bogged down a little bit in 14th. Tim Malik up into 9th place. Good start for himself. Battles are plenty going on. Lolanoba having it out with an RB of Blackmere, I think that is, yes, with the front wing damage. But Lolly going very, very wide indeed. And Blackmere saying thank you very much. No challenge there.
Nope, not at all. Lolanoba, though, might be challenged this time with Racing Child over his tail. Back again comes Gwatz and Zafso. They're going wheel to wheel, and Zafso moves up into 3rd. 3 wide, coming through turn 4 as Lolanoba meets Blackmere as well. Formula Karim peels on through. A through goes Karim moment as they come through towards turns 5, 6 and 7, and indeed he does. Racing Chai up into 12th as well. Through goes Lolanoba, down the inside of Blackmere, and by the same extension, that guy Vince gets caught and gets spun. Coming through under turn 8 and is now reduced to P19 as now GB and Lolanoba tussle over that 12th place now coming out of turn 10, and they will remain wheel to wheel with GB with the better line coming through towards turn 11 and has actually managed to sustain the place. Through to P12 he goes, the Aston Martin in the ascension and now hunting down after Racing Chai.
Yeah, made his way through nicely, GB, as he did in the first race from 19th on the grid. Bit of deja vu from himself there. Formula Cream with that little skirmish we saw in the middle sector now finds himself in a Red Bull sandwich and inside the top 10 underneath the rear wing of the Season 4 champion Meraki. Both of them switching the ERS off down into the penultimate corner. Obviously, this is technically 2 corners to end the lap with that little kink there of turn 15, even though it is, of course, completely flat. Pulling over to the right-hand side, trying to avoid the bumps down the main straight as he tries to get ahead of the Red Bull of Meraki. Tim McMahon, good start for himself as well. Now up into 6th position, making the most of a poor run out of the final corner for Scott Taylor. Down the inside goes the Papaya McLaren, and he slides that orange car alongside and ahead of Meraki. 8th place now for Karim from 20th on the grid.
Yeah, incredible drive from Karim and a true champion's effort as well. You never know, he could be on for a massive result here. He's got his championship contender, Tiamat Mardikos, championship reigning champion, I should say. Tiamat Mardikas now, he blasts past Scott Taylor as he makes his way through turns 5, 6 and 7. And now Karim is on the cusp of having the fight of his life against the Aussie that he shares the top end of the championship with. And after the last round, he brought that points gap very, very close indeed. And now Tiamat Mardik's got to try and keep this relentless Formula Karim in behind in his Papaya machine as they exit out of turn 10. Here are the live standings. 3 points is all that separates them. That last win was key. We said that, of course, this wildcard, this double header, could prove to be the difference maker in terms of where the championship would indeed swing, and indeed it has. Remember, we're on the cusp of the end of the series here, and certainly here on the brink of the end of the F1 24 game cycle, with F1 25 just around the corner. That will be of course, unveiled in the not too distant future. Remember, of course, folks, to get involved if you want to sign up to join the EA Sports F1 Creators Series, sign-ups are now indeed open. The link is pinned to both the YouTube and, of course, the Twitch chat, as now they make their way down through towards turn 1 again. Formula Karim, a declaration of pace, a purple lap once more as Noiguera gets past Quats for P4 as well, past one McLaren, but there's another McLaren looking to get past a Mercedes for P6. Hasn't quite got close enough. Scott Taylor up into 8th place as well. Meraki down in 9th as they make their way down through towards turn 4. Here comes the Red Bull again. Meraki opting not to make the move. There is Karim just in front of them as well, tucked right in behind the Mercedes as the Mercedes engine-powered McLaren meets the Mercedes itself, coming through towards turn 8. Tim Martin knows he must get past at least one of them because Quats is holding him back, and here comes Karim coming in towards turn 8, and they're going to go wheel to wheel again as they look to fight in sector 2, and Tim Martin past the sister McLaren. Quats was left stagnant as they're now coming towards turns 9 and 10. Tim Martin now with a nose in P5 will have the better line on the run through towards turns 11 as they now all flurry coming through this next back straight. In towards turn 11 they go, and the Mercedes moves on up. Quats had no defence. It's the Aussie Diamond up into 5th place as Karim is allowed through by his good friend, teammate and colleague, Quats.
Well, he was under the cosh there, wasn't he, Tim Martin, but making the most of his teammate being in front. But look at this, Ben with a poor run coming into the final sector, side by side, the two championship protagonists into the penultimate corner. Karim up over the curb. If he wins this race, he takes the lead of the championship, everybody. Still neck and neck coming out of it, but Ben just about in the ascendancy, darting over to the right-hand side of the circuit. This battle going to continue as they pass the Ferrari of Nogueira on the left-hand side, ducking back over to the left they go. Quats stranded a little bit on the outside, but it's Tim Martin for the moment. Round 1 going to the Mercedes.
Certainly is. He's returned the serve on Formula Karim now once again as they look to come out of turn 3. He's off the road here as the two of them come together just on the off track, but they got to watch out for Noiguera here. He has opened up the first stint on the medium tyres and is running very, very well indeed. I tell you what, Noiguera has been offered this great opportunity to challenge for a podium in this instance. Up at the very front, Tom 97 still leads the race. He's ahead by just over 3.5 to 4 tenths of Tom. Those two have been disputing it right through the course of the first 6 laps of action that we have had here at Bahrain. We've got Zapso in 3rd as well, who's also in the mix, but 4.1 seconds off the top. At this rate, Noiguera could be the outsider to take a podium here. Here comes Karim once more at the inside of Tim Martin and will indeed take that 4th place.
Much easier move than the one he tried to attempt at the start of the lap, shown the runoff area by the reigning champion Tim Martin, laying his cards down on the table. He's saying, I'm going to allow you through on this occasion, but I tell you what, it is not going to be easy, and you're going to have quite the hard time in trying to take this championship lead away from me come the end of our 29-lap Grand Prix. The pair of them will now try and catch up to Tim Martin's former teammate in Safso, doing a very decent job of holding station in 3rd. And then it is 4 seconds between Safso and the pair of Toms that continue to run off into the distance.
Yeah, Zapso currently sat in no man's land as Tom and Tom 97 exchange as Tim Martin and Formula Karim also exchange over their positions. In come as well a flurry of cars from behind. Scott Taylor moving up the inside of Quats as well. The sister McLaren to Karim, and Scott Taylor unable to get the move done just yet because Quats powers on through, and so does Meraki. Takes full opportunity of the lack of momentum that Scott Taylor had coming out of turn 2, and now on the run down through towards turn 4. It's the Red Bull that now occupies P8 ahead of Taylor, with Rasin Chai also coming into this as well. In terms of the big movers, just want to note, Formula Karim with the reverse grid scenario, remember starting from P20, he's now 5th on the tail of Tim Martin. It's been an exceptional start here in this opening stint here for Formula Karim, who is now currently sat in 5th place and really, really looking for another big result here on Tim Martin. The championship could swing here tonight. They're 3 points as it stands. They were 16, but after the win that Karim managed to pull together in our opening race through the puncture wildcard, he has now entered himself in the championship lead fray. If he beats Tim Martin today, there's a good chance he comes out of this championship leader with 2 rounds to go.
And you can just tell by the way that he's manhandling that Papaya McLaren car. He is oozing confidence. He is feeling very, very good at the wheel of that car. I think he's just trying to apply the blowtorch a little bit to Ben in this final set, but he gets tagged by the Ferrari behind. Off the road he goes, scrabbling for grip. That was not in the script for Formula Karim. Tagged by Nogueira, who was a little bit over-ambitious on the brakes, running into the rear of the McLaren car. And crucially as well, drops Karim out of DRS range of Ben.
I'd imagine there's a great deal of confusion as far as Team Ardic's concerned. Earlier on, he had a bright orange car right behind him, and now it's all of a sudden disappeared. There's been another tie-up coming through towards turn 1. Rasin Chai part of it, Quads, as it was Scott Taylor. That's the flurry of cars that are fighting over the bottom end of the top 10 as they now come down through towards turn 4. There's more fighting for the battle. Olin over, creeping and peeping his way around just outside the top 10 as well, looking to come in and join this fight that is essentially taking place over that P8, 9 and 10 spot. GB on the cusp of breaking into that as well, of course, managing to achieve that P2 in our previous race as they now come out of turn 8 and through now towards turn 9 very shortly. Tom 97, half a second in front of Tom as it stands, those two still disputing this front end lead. Of course, remember, lap 8 of 29, still plenty more to go. We've yet to have proper pit stops just yet. Of course, we have had an early stop with Scotty moving from the mediums onto the softs. Team Radio from Formula Karim, what are you doing? And I'm asking that same question. Noiguera punting him straight into the rear, which obviously disconnected him away from Team Marduk's rear wing, and therefore left him needing to try and close that gap back up once again. Not that he's had to close up already, given the fact that he started from P20 on the grid and has fought his way 15 places up in order to challenge for that top 5 place. But Team Marduk, I would imagine, probably quite happy with how this has unfolded. Gave him some clean air to just focus on what's in front of that Zafso, and that's been illustrated obviously with him closing the gap. But here comes Karim now, looking to retake that 4th, and has done so brilliantly, and I'm sure with a great deal of frustration as well. But now he has got DRS on Zafso, so that P5 battle becomes, or should I say P4 battle, becomes a Podium and P3 battle.
It's relentless, isn't it, from Formula Cream? Absolutely relentless, giving his opponents absolutely no room to breathe. And I'll tell you what, Team Marduk was a little bit sideways coming out of turn number 1 there. The gap has fallen to 7/10 of a second now between himself and the McLaren in front. So just putting himself under the cosh once again, maybe feeling the pressure at the burden of trying to become the first ever back-to-back champion in the Creator Series. Already holds the title of the first driver to pick up multiple crowns, looking to make it 3. But he has the young pretender in Formula Cream that is doing a very good job of trying to knock Ben off his perch.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I have to say, in his debut season as a full-time driver in this series as well, we know how good Karim is. He's got the form behind him. Obviously, his first season where he's managed to achieve a race win, but not only that, he's taken his 5th off the back of our last race in race 1 here at Bahrain. Here on lap 9 of 29, though, on the tail of Zafso as they peel around, coming out of turn 13, 14 and 15 still to come. They've got quite a lengthy gap to close, though, on our current race leaders, Tom 97. Do have to wonder whether they might be better off looking at an undercut if you are on that soft tyre. Maybe if you're Team at Marduk, do you consider making that decision here at this point? And just as I say that, in comes Zafso.
Yeah, almost like you predicted it yourself, George. In comes the Season 1 champion to get shot of those red stripe tyres. Rasin Chai doing the same. That doesn't surprise me too much. Rasin has got a little bit of front wing damage, has been bogged down in the midfield, right at the back of that train of cars that had started to fall behind the second McLaren of Quats, who was fighting very, very hard with Scott Taylor in the lower reaches of the top 10. A lot of drivers further down coming in also. Datkovitz hasn't had a particularly good day so far. He's in to get rid of his soft compound tyres. They're going to have to do what? 20 laps on these mediums? That could be a little bit touch and go. How long did Tom 97 last in the first race on his medium tyres? I think it was around 20 laps before he got those 2 punctures.
I'm telling you now, Tom, that's why they don't pay me the big bucks, mate. As we now watch them come through out of turn 8 and through towards turn 9. Formula Karim in 3rd place and 4.8 away from Tom 97, ahead of Team at Marduk by nearly a second. 9/10 now, so Karim now looking to break away from the Aussie. Of course, championship leader coming into tonight. It could be a very different picture come the end of play today. Rasin Chai on fresh medium tyres, opting for that early stop. Zafso looking for that undercut as well. I've got to say that could be a genius power play, because he's 12.6 seconds away from Becky B. No traffic in sight, and he can just focus on hot lapping, much like Rasin Chai is, but he's got F1 Alex for company, obviously utilising a similar strat. Here comes Team at Marduk's team radio. Pace is not good here, and I would agree, and I think this is why many drivers are opting to fight this battle out in the strategy phase. Here comes race leader Tom, though, to take his soft tyres off the card. Tom 97 stays out.
And I wonder if Team at Marduk will be jumping into the pits as well. No, he is not. We can see him there barreling down the pit straight, moving up into 3rd place, but 1.3 seconds now behind the Papaya McLaren in front as Formula Cream soldiers off into the distance, trying to chase after the two Toms to give himself that championship lead going into the final couple of races. Here is Tom coming down pit road. Here is Safso coming out of the final corner over to the right-hand side, avoiding the bumps. Where is he going to be in respects to the Alpine? There is Tom cutting over the white line. I wonder if that's maybe a warning for him, maybe a little bit lazy from Tom, but he is just over, probably just under by the time that delta catches up. 4 seconds. No hovering around 4 seconds between himself and the Alpine.
I can tell you he's very lucky because he did not get a warning for that. He remains on 0 as it stands, but Zavso has pretty much maintained the status quo. He was around 4 seconds, but I think he did grow to 5, so I think he has grown a second over the last lap as Zavso, so it's actually paid off for him in a certain degree to make that tyre change swap, but obviously now Tom is going to be enjoying the effects of brand new Pirelli rubber as well. Tim Emardek coming through towards turn 11, 10 laps now on his softs. He'll be making it 11 laps as he crosses the line, but big question is, does he respond to the immediate changes that we have seen elsewhere on the grid and plumb for a fresh set of mediums? I know he's already declared that he's not happy with the pace that he is currently registered. Tom 97 coming around the final corner as well, 5.2 clear of Karim as it stands. Does he respond to Tom's pit stop? He certainly does. Into the pits comes Tom 97. So now all eyes on Tom 97 and, of course, where Tom currently sits, our net leader of this race. We're running on board with him in picture in the bottom right of screen right now. Let's see how good this pit stop is here for Tom 97. The Williams garage team go to work. A fresh set of medium tyres on the car. It's a battle between Alpine, between Enstone and Grove here in this fight, this tussle heading down towards turn 1 on the pit lane side. They're going to be coming out together. There's Tom now. Here comes Tom 97. Tom, though, looking to go around the outside as the two Toms mix it up. Both of them getting disqualified in our last race, but it's Tom 97 on the outset. That additional lap certainly did not cost him anything. In fact, he retains the race lead. Your new net race leader is, of course, Tom 97. Formula Karim may have the on-track advantage, but through the pit stops, it's Tom 97, the man in charge.
But Tom still very much there. It's getting a bit confusing, isn't it? Tom, and Tom battling over the net lead of the race. Tim Emardek continuing to lose time. He's got Meraki all over his rear diffuser. Nogueira on the medium tyres. Let's not forget, still very much in the ballpark of these podium contenders also. Things not looking particularly rosy for the reigning champion as things stand. 2 seconds off the back of Karim also. You feel like he's going to have to maybe just roll the dice at this point, because on pace, he has not got an answer to Formula Karim or the two Toms.
Yeah, I have to agree with Seb Kowalski as well. Tom, that's a sat-nav. It certainly is, and some of these drivers do not know their way around this track either, so that's quite the it's quite the abbreviation to bring into this, or should we say the Tom to bring into this. Formula Karim now coming into the box as well, looking to remove his 11 lap hold, now 12 lap hold soft tyres. Meraki not coming in for his stop. He's going to stay out for a little bit longer and try and have the utilisation of fresher mediums for the rest of the race as well, as we now watch them come through turn 1 once more. It's Tim Emardek now with the on-track lead advantage, but Meraki is on his tail, as is Nogueira. Nogueira has already pounced on the Red Bull. There is Karim leaving the pits. Tom 97 coming out. There was a big puff of smoke there as they make their way down through towards turn 1. And Zavso, as we're now watching on screen, in 6th place, making his way out of turn 2. He's ahead of Formula Karim as it stands by 2.4 seconds. There's Nogueira and Meraki going at it, with Tim Emardek just in front of them, as well as 3-car scramble as they make their way out of turn 8 through towards turn 9. There's now 11.5 seconds between Tom 97 and Meraki further up. So no question, when the top 3 do come into box, they will have certainly very little advantage against Tom 97, who is on reasonably fresh, in fact, very fresh medium tyres.
I wonder if Ben's potentially made a little bit of an error here, because if you look at the gap, it was 2 seconds between himself and Formula Karim. 2 seconds now behind Karim. Add a little bit more on for the undercut. He's going to be right in the thick of the battle between Gwatz, GB, Formula Kai and the 2 Haas cars. So he's going to be in a lot of traffic when he comes out of the pit lane. Maybe he's trying to go long and do a bit of a safety car dance to try and get himself some track position back. But the strategy at the moment, not quite working out the way that Ben would have been hoping for. Is he going to come into the pits now? Yes, he is, an unlucky lap number 13. But I think he might be in for a bit of a nasty surprise as he exits the pit lane.
Yeah, I think he will. Obviously, being out on the track for an additional lap, his best lap was recorded as a 1:35.67. Well, he certainly wasn't lapping like that towards the end of his stint. Others have been lapping a lot faster. Of course, we've got 1:33.29s from Tom 97 at the moment. who is registering pretty much fast laps that Ben was issuing earlier on in the race right now, and has already managed to eat away, and Tim Malik has fallen down the order as a result. But bear in mind, we'll have fresher rubber towards the end as well. Tom 97 coming out of turn 4. Still got Tom for company. Noiguera now your race leader, but that gap that was, should we say, 11 seconds to Ben at the top of the shop now is only 8.5 seconds away from Noiguera, who will almost certainly lose the lead when he comes in for his first stop. Obviously trying to see the race through and assure the one-stop strategy at the moment. Though there is a few question marks here, Tom, that we could yet see a two-stop.
There are. Formula Cream thinking maybe about a two-stop and Ben going for the one-stop. I believe there was only one lap between them, wasn't there, on when they came into the pits. Cream came in at the end of 12, Ben coming in at the end of 13, I think. And now Ben finds himself with 5 cars between himself and his main championship rival.
Yeah. And obviously now on lap 14 coming down through towards turn 11. We're now watching Tim McMardick now rise uphill through the elevation incline, and now in towards turn 13 and 14. To then sprint down the long straight in towards the final corners on this Sakir circuit. Still Noiguera out in front, but again the deficit has been brought down some more. Tom 97 really putting the work in here to try and bring that gap down, but Noiguera now into the pits as he looks to make his first pit stop, and I'd imagine he'll be looking for this one to be his last, especially considering that we're on lap 15 of 29. GV68 registering the fastest lap of the race on a 1:29.3 as well. Tom 97 now takes the on-track race lead as battles further back as well. Formula Kai ahead of Gwatz. We've also got wheel-to-wheel between Tim Marduk and Rasin Chais. Karim now takes the next group of cars through towards turn 4. There's Tim Marduk and Becky B going at it, coming out of turn 3. And now Becky B with the advantage with the Mercedes-powered Williams ascending higher than the Mercedes itself as they round turn 4. And now on the tail of Meraki as well. Meraki currently sat in P10 as they come through the snake section. The snake in the snake section here in turns 5, 6 and 7.
And what a difference a lap makes. Formula Cream's got himself back up into 3rd place courtesy of overtaking Safso, but Tiamat Marduk is down in 12th. And he's just been overtaken by Becky B, who's on some soft tyres that he's going to be absolutely adoring at this stage. So the reigning champion, his back is now firmly up against the wall. Everybody has made a stop now as well. So this is his realistic position, P12. That's not a lot of points with Karim up in 3rd.
No, not a lot at all, as we now watch them fly uphill once again, this time to flurry through turns 12 and 13 here on lap 15 of 29. And obviously we'll have approximately 16 laps to take us to the, well, should I say 15 laps to bring us to the bitter end here at this point. We're at the halfway point here in this 29 lap affair here at Sakir. Tom now exchanging with other Tom up at the very front of the order. The Williams and the Alpines swapping positions as now Tom in the Alpine leads the race. And coming through turn 2 out of turn 3 on lap 16 will now take them down through towards turn 4. There's a healthy gap now between Tom 97 and Formula Karim, stretching to 6.6 to 6.7. Obviously Karim having a lap fresher tyres than Tom 97, but obviously with Tom 97's pace and his ability to nurture and almost whisper tyres around a track such as this, and those are all the tools that you garner when you are a top flight league racer. He's of course using them to his own benefit here once more here at Bahrain, and essentially has left him with a great opportunity of just fighting it out with Tom over the lead battle. So there we have it. Safso could be on the cusp of his best finish in a long time. Obviously we've looked back at his prior form, has actually not achieved a single podium this season, and it could be the case that he could witness it today, but with an exit like that he might be slightly compromised, Tom.
Yeah, GB hot on his heels along with Lolanoba and Formula Caldo. Those trio are on the soft compound tyres, and they're going to have to take them a significant portion into this Grand Prix. I think they've been on them for 3 or 4 laps at this stage. Yeah, 4 laps apiece for all of them. So they're going to be pretty worn if they are trying to extend this for a one-stop. Probably says to me that GB, Lolly and Kai are going for a 2-stop, and they'll be putting another set of softs on maybe in 6 or 7 laps time. Tim McMahon bogged down in the midfield at the moment. Nagara the car in front, Meraki the car behind who he's managed to overtake on this lap. Tom 97 gets back past Tom Beanie with the helping hand of DRS down to turn. And one big cluster of cars here all holding each other up. Becky B is scampering off on his new soft compact tyres. Then it's Nagara on soft tyres as well. Tim McMahon pulls out to the right hand side. He's going to take 11th place off the hands of Scott Taylor. Does he want to try and challenge the Ferrari? His former team, of course, down into turn number 1. I don't think he's quite going to be close enough. Spat out of the pits. Is that? No, that's Becky B. Just being reeled in with the DRS. Nogueira flies through. Bit of a snap on the exit. Almost gets a swap on. Now side by side for the second time in this race between Becky B and Tia McMurdoch. Neck and neck as we come towards turn number 4. Is Ben going to have the confidence to hang it around the outside? Yes, he is. And now it's Meraki trying to do the same. And that is 3 places lost in the first sector for the Williams.
Yeah, so there's Becky B down to 12. Tia McMurdoch getting those tyres well and truly rubbered in now. Remember, he did box later than most, and therefore will have the youngest tyres of those that did box for the first time in this race. And on the tail of Nogueira, who is on relatively fresh softs as well. He's on 2-lap-old soft tyres, but remember, Tia McMurdoch's mediums can go to the end on the one stop. So we'll see how this plans out. Obviously, regardless, coming into the latter stint, or the latter stages of this stint, Tia McMurdoch will, regardless, have better tyres than Nogueira because those softs will dwindle a lot quicker, or should we say degrade a lot quicker than those on the mediums. As we're now watching the front-end battle, we've got the battle over P3 and P4. Lolinoba just behind GB, and GB on the tail of Formula Karim as well. Has got a lap less grip on his tyres, or less wear, or more wear on his tyres than Formula Karim at the moment. Karim sat in 3rd place with 4-lap-old mediums. In fact, is nursing a tyre life that is only 1 lap additional than Tia McMurdoch, as they now come down through towards turn 1 once more. Now it's GB up into 3rd. Lolinoba moves up into 4th place, with Karim now down in 5th. Tia McMurdoch now on the tail of Nogueira has moved up to 9th as well. So a great move done even before the apex coming into turn 1 for the man on the medium. So it certainly looks like the medium tyre showing all the plaudits of being a decent race tyre in comparison to the softs. But back comes Nogueira, does not opt for the move coming through towards turn 4. Has opted to stay behind the Mercedes, I suppose get essentially carried by slipstream and DRS.
Yeah, hope to get dragged along, as that probably tells us that Tia McMurdoch and Nogueira, who pitted relatively similar points, I think they were only a lap apart, those mediums already better than the soft tyres at this stage, as Nogueira not treating his rear tyres with any due respect coming out of turn number 8 there. And now Gwatz is going to, Tia McMurdoch, sorry, is going to set after Gwatz, his former teammate, of course, from the start of F1 24 season number 7 of the Creator Series. I think we have to also give a huge shout out to the Season 3 champion, Tom Biener, clinging onto the coattails of Tom 97. He's only got 3 wins in the Creator Series, but with the pace he's showing, able to stick with, like he said, a top-tier league racer, he's got a great chance of potentially getting win number 4.
And it'll be a first win in the new sim rig as well, the new motion rig for Tom, which will be a massive achievement if he can pull this one off. Imagine have all the makings of a decent video, certainly if he was to make YouTube content. We obviously know that Tia McMurdoch utilises it, so does Alex Gillen, and feel free as well, if you're fans of the creators, be sure to check out their content as well in relation to the Creator Series. It's always a pleasure to watch. We've got all sorts certainly in amongst this grid, as we now watch as Nogueira powers down through past Gwatz, joining Tia McMurdoch as they all ascend up into P8. A lovely move for them both, getting it done even prior to turn 1, and now Nogueira looking to get carried through towards turn 4 as well. Might even plumb for the move past Benjamin Daly in an effort to try and DRS his way forward to Zafso as well, and indeed he does. Moves into that 8th place in the Ferrari, and a little bit of a late lunge from Meraki as well. Had a very dangerous look on the inside of Gwatz as well, as we now take in team radio from GB. Someone will try a one-stop here, and I think that candidate will be Benjamin Daly, GB.
100%. I think his pace, it might have just been a soft tyre thing for Tia McMurdoch, because his pace on the mediums is much, much better, as Formula Karim getting back ahead of Formula Kai down into turns 9 and 10. Lolinoba getting ahead of the Aston Martin and now finds himself on the podium for the very first time in this Grand Prix, but still nearly 7 seconds back from the 2 Toms that continue to duel out in front with just over 10 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. And the first question is going to be, when do Lolinoba, GB and Formula Kai, on these soft tyres that they've had on for I think 10 laps now, when do they bail on them and get onto another set to take them to the end of the race?
Well, this is it, because we've only got 10 or so laps left, so this does put us in a position where obviously we would expect others to come in sooner rather than later, and certainly those that are on softs. If you're Lolinoba, GB, you're going to be thinking about that pit stop, and indeed already we almost saw one coming there. That was a very risque moment, maybe trying to sell the dummy Lolinoba, as GB now flurries past the Haas and moves into 3rd place with the power of DRS. Further back as well, Formula Karim, Formula Kai as well, flurrying in behind too, with runs coming through towards turn 3. Nogueira now coming out of turn 1, leading the train, and has actually got past Zafso, who was tailed off a little bit. Obviously he's got quite well-worn tyres. Tia McMurdoch having a moment coming out of turn 3 and has actually dropped below Meraki and Gwatz, and then is now looking to try and challenge back against Gwatz as they make contact coming through turn 4. A recovery that went somewhat wrong coming out of turn 3, just lost the car altogether, and it really sucked away all that momentum as well there, Tom.
Yeah, I think he just lost it over that massively serrated curb. Wow, wow, wow. I think that was Gwat's thinking about the championship charge for his teammate, because that could have ended in an aeroplane crash as he launched it up the inside of Tim McMardock into turn number 8, potentially just trying to spook Ben into making a little bit of a mistake. But Tim McMardock is a very, very tough nut to crack, and I don't think he was going to get put off in the slightest by Gwat's launching it up the inside. He has now, of course, got 6 seconds worth of penalties for corner cutting, the only driver in the field that has penalties looming over their heads at the moment. I'm really fascinated by this strategy at the moment. If Kareem's thinking about a 2-stop and Ben's thinking about a 1-stop, and there's only 1 lap difference in the tyres, that probably tells us that there's 1 lap where they're all going to puncture.
Yeah, I would say so. It's going to be very, very close right to the bitter end. Currently, as the tyres are stacked, we got 8 lap-old tyres. We're seeing pit stops now, though. GB coming in. So is Lolinoba. So in come the pit stops now. Cars starting to make their way in now, Zavso being one of them too. So that's 3 cars that are into the box for a fresh set of boots. In on the soft tyres goes GB. Lolinoba obviously looking to do the same. These will, of course, go to the end. And we've got Rasin Chai coming in for a late change as well. So already now we're seeing the 2 stops come to the furore. Now, if you're Tim McMardock, you've got to get to work now. Really start flurrying in those lap times, because you've got to build that gap between those that are further back as well. I'm just looking at others to see if there's anyone else looking to try that 1 stop. There are a few candidates on medium tyres, Tom 97 being one of them. What about Formula Karim on 8 lap-old mediums? We've got also Meraki, who could be also someone who might even try it to the end. There's a few drivers there on medium tyres. As Safso leaves the session having problems in his own right, he's just had a pit stop. But nonetheless, extraordinary scenes here. The question is, if you're on the 7, 8 lap-old mediums, do you box or do you go to the end?
Well, if we judge what other drivers have done, the 2 Toms are going to have to stop again. Fabio managed to get his medium 17 laps, albeit it was in the 90 percentile once he got down pit road to get rid of them. The only other driver that's got anywhere near that is Nogueira, who did 14 laps with his set of medium tyres. With the 2 Toms stopping on 10 and 11 respectively, they're going to have to pit again at some point. It's only really Kareem and Tim McMardock that have the option to go for the 1 stop. And as we say it, Tom Biener is coming down pit road along with Formula Kai as Kareem stays out.
Yeah, Kareem opting to stay out. Obviously, his tyres younger than most. He's on 9 lap-old mediums. I'm not sure whether Tom 97 will come in, I think he might do in response now to Tom, or Tom Biener as we're calling him. Zafso has left the session again, having more problems here at the moment with his connection at this stage. But we've now got CS Radio coming in. Here we go. This is it, says Tom. He obviously fancies his chances on a late soft tyre stint. Needs to go to work now in order to pull this off if he wants to try and essentially undercut Tom 97 should 97 come into the pits. It's all on Martinez. Does he box or does he not? As now Tom looks at the inside, and just look at the difference in pace straight away. The soft tyres in this late stage with plenty of Pirelli rubber rubbered into the track itself. It's now allowing Tom now to kick on and move on up into 7th place with Scott Taylor now down in 8th place on very well-worn medium tyres.
A little bit raggy in the first half of the lap. They obviously spat out of the pits into the path of the Haas of Scott Taylor. Just locking the rears a little bit there down to turn number 8 as well over the curb. So not treating his tyres particularly nicely. I think he fell off the racetrack again there through turn number 10. So pushing incredibly hard, Tom, to try and get the undercut and get the track position on Tom 97 if the Williams does indeed jump into the pits at the end of this lap in response. Tim McMardock underneath the rear wing of Meraki. Here we go. Is 97 coming in? Yes, he is. And now we've got a race on our hands, everybody.
We certainly do. There's quite a gap in between those that are in 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th to Tom 97 at the moment. But here comes Formula Karim, who's going to cross the line in a bid to become a back-to-back winner here at Bahrain. He started 20th on the grid. He now leads this race with 10 lap-old mediums attached to his chassis. Nogueira in 2nd, looking for a huge result. A victory here in the Creator Series would mean a lot to him and the Ferrari team. Lolinoba setting the fastest lap as now out comes Tom 97, and Tom Biener takes essentially what we believe to be the net lead. That depends on whether those further up do decide to box, but why? Why would you? If you're Tim McMardock, you've got to go to the end. If you're Meraki, you've got to go to the end. Surely, on these medium tyres that you've already strapped to your car, it's going to be a defensive masterclass or bust if you are Tim McMardock or Meraki. But the big question is, Nogueira on his 8-lap-old soft, surely he's got to think about boxing. And what about Karim? Formula Karim on 10-lap-old mediums. He is literally on the threshold of both strategies.
And he is significantly slower than the group behind. On the previous lap, Tim at Barlett taking 1.3 seconds out of the McLaren in front. Remember what we said in race number 1 as well. Cream with a very aggressive driving style. Fernando Alonso-esque from the Renault days. That means he works the front tyres in particular very, very hard. And that might be the difference between a 1 and a 2 stop for himself. Nogueira definitely has to box again. He's still on the soft tyres, will not be able to take them to the end of this Grand Prix. Ben and Meraki with the same ace tyres, both of them usually pretty decent on them. I think they can definitely go to the end. Formula Cream is the big question mark now because he's getting reeled in very, very quickly.
He certainly is. He's going to be a sitting duck if he carries on this way. Nogueira also is going to see a lot lost, just given the fact that he's got very worn soft tyres on. And here comes Tim at Marduk straight away into second place. He pounces into the podium places proper. Ahead of Nogueira, who's now down to third, and he could be fodder for Meraki in behind as they race down through towards turn 4. DRS opens up once more. This time Meraki looking to get a little closer. Nogueira now opts to remain in behind Benjamin Daly, does not go for the move on Tiamat Marduk, and it's Formula Karim who takes them on. But look at that gap now, 1.2 seconds, another half a second taken off by Benjamin Daly over the last lap. That now on lap 24 means he's on the cusp of DRS, and he could have it on the escape coming out of turn 10 as well.
Remember when Ben came out of the pits? He was 6 seconds behind Formula Cream with 9 cars in between them. About 10 laps later, 0.8 of a second between them. And this race has come right back into the palm of the hands of the reigning champion. Formula Cream lost another 1.6 seconds on the previous lap. He is really, really struggling. Whether this is an intentional ploy to try and preserve the tyres, baby these tyres as much as possible, drop back into this train with Ben and Meraki so that he can get dragged along and give himself a chance to make the one-stop work. I think the ship has sailed to go for a 2-stop, to be honest. I don't think if he does bolt on the softs, he's going to have enough time left to try and catch Ben back up.
Shakespeare, Beethoven, this race is sheer poetry, and we're making music here at Sakir. Formula Karim and Tiamat Marduk both leading the championship as wide goes Nogueira on those very worn soft tyres. They're certainly not working as well as they once were. Here now heading on lap 25 of 29. Tom 97 with the fastest lap of the race, and he knows he must do in order to catch these front runners and try and make his way past them. Meraki also committing to the one stop, as I'm sure Nogueira is actually. I can't imagine he's going to want to box with just over 4 laps to go or so. Karim leads the way, but DRS here available now for Tiamat Marduk, who's trying to remain on the tail. Back comes Nogueira up the inside of Meraki as they run side by side. Red Bull meet Ferrari on the run out of turn 4. Nogueira with the better line coming through towards turn 5 and takes P3 back away from Meraki. And here on lap 25 this time they have got Formula Karim in contact. Karim will lead the championship off the back of this, should this be the end result. But we'll have to wait and see. We've got 4 and a bit laps to go. Karim in front with the championship lead as it stands. Tiamat Marduk in second place and on his tail. And a virtual safety car. Virtual safety car. Not a full one. A virtual safety car. VSC here as the drivers make their way through the middle sector. And we've got a full safety car now. It's been upgraded.
What is that for? Blackmere retired in the pits, but... Oh, we're actually hearing that he smashed it into the pit wall. So that has completely changed the complexion of the race. I'm a little bit disappointed because we were in for a grandstand finish with 6 or 7 drivers converging on each other. But it matters not. We are going to have a safety car. And instead of having all the different tyre strategies coming together, we're going to be having everybody sprinting to the finish on brand new softs.
Yeah, we certainly will. This opens up the door, though, for a last lap battle, and we're going to have our 2 front runners coming together. Now, everyone's surely got to come in, even if you've just changed tyres. Let's wait and see how that unfolds. In the meantime, let's head across and speak to our man, Josh. Well, we'll wait a little bit. We'll wait for Josh to come back. But immediately, as they come into the pits, we've got tyre changes now being undertaken as they now look to box onto a new fresh set of rubber. Formula Karim obviously coming in for new tyres. They're all coming in for new tyres at the moment. Let's see who's got the advantage at the head of the order now as they come out. It will be Karim. We've got a few drivers actually opting to stay out, which is interesting. It looks like that's the Williams looking to stay out. That's the Williams, if I'm not mistaken, or Becky B, who's looking to now maintain the place out on track in 5th spot. Zafso again having problems leaving the session. Formula Kai in the pits, Rassen Chai, Watts, F1 Alex, Scott Taylor. Now in terms of how they rank, in terms of their positions where they started, Formula Karim, P20 is where he started on the grid. He now leads this race. We have got Tiamat Marduk, who moved up from 15th place into 2nd. We've got Nogueira who remains in third after starting in third place on the grid. We've got in fourth Meraki, who has also moved up from P16. Again, one of his stealth races where he's kind of just sleuthed his way through the field and put himself in a position to win this race. It'll be extraordinary to see how this one unfolds. Let's move across anyway as we now speak to Josh. Josh, are you there?
Yeah, well, here we go. This is the clip. The reason why we have this safety car with just a few laps to go, Blackmere coming down towards the pit entry, decided his race was going to come to an end a couple laps early, smashed into the pit wall, very big crash there for the V-Carb driver. That is his race over. We have this safety car now. Just going to quickly have a run through of some of the incidents we've seen in this race. Just quickly before we get to the end of the safety car, coming down, this is on lap 1, Razin Chai to the inside in towards turn 8, hits the back of Lolly, collects GB as well. That's where he picked up his wing damage initially at the start of this race. We had this contact as well down at turn number 4, Razin Chai, Lolanoba. I think Formula Crim was involved in this as well. I'm not sure exactly who it was. I think Blackmere was on the outside here as they made their way in 3 wide. They just got pinched up a bit here. On the apex, and yeah, a bit more damage I think that was for Razin as well. So really unfortunate start to his race. Formula Crim managed to pick up 3 positions there in just 1 corner. We had this spin from that guy Vince as well in towards turn 8, got rear-ended I think by the Red Bull of Super Noodle Bagel, spun him round, and yeah, not a great start to his race either. All these incidents happening before the end of lap 3. What else do we have? This was a bit of an incident between our 2 championship protagonists coming down towards turn number 4. Karim having a bit of a look to the outside and Ben closing the door, just pushing him off the track a little bit. Nearly a big crash. Fortunately, nothing actually came of that one, but that could have been a very big moment coming there. We had this rear ending from Nogueira coming in towards the final corner. Tap of the rear from the Ferrari driver, very nearly put Karim out of shape. Fortunately, though, managed to keep going, called back up to the back of Ben and was able to overtake him later on. And yeah, that is it. That's all the clips I have.
Thank you very much for that, Josh. Really appreciate it. So this is how we're stacked right now. Formula Karim leads this race with Tim Marduk in second place. The 2 championship protagonists locked together once more. But remember, if Karim wins this race, he will come away with the championship lead advantage. Again, we spoke about how influential this race could be, Tom, or this round could be, in reflection of the championship situation. And it certainly could be. Karim could become the championship leader again here after this race.
And it's given the pair of them an opportunity to win the race as well, because let's be honest, there was no chance that either of them were going to finish P1. Let's be honest. The 2 Toms were, I think, only 2 seconds back once that safety car came out. They were going to fly by considerably quicker tyres. Formula Cream was also probably at risk of getting a puncture, so he has benefited the most from this. Obviously, it looks pretty obvious because he's in the lead of the race now, but he was at risk of potentially getting a puncture, picking up nil points. Something very, very close to that indeed. But Ben will also take solace from this. He has now got a free shot at his main championship rival. An opportunity to see what Formula Cream is made of.
Yeah, certainly is. Safety car confirmed coming in this lap, so it'll be all on Formula Cream to get us back underway with some big points to be taken here on the table. We, of course, did have, Karim taking his 5th race win in his series career, as they now peel down through towards the final 2 corners on this lap. We're going to have a couple of laps left to take us to the end. The next lap will be the penultimate one. It's all or nothing, a sprint to the finish. It's Formula Karim who takes them through, just weaving, getting some heat into those tyres prior to the restart. He will, of course, be the one to send them onwards as they now look to get back underway. And just like magic, they'll put pedal to the metal for the 2nd time in this race now. It's Formula Karim who takes them down through towards turn 1 as they now sprint down through towards the first corner here on lap 28 of 29. Penultimate lap now underway as wheel to wheel they go in a battle over P3. Meraki and Nogueira. Nogueira losing out. Meraki moves into 3rd. So the champion from Season 4 now looking to converge against his title rival from Season 4 and also fellow champion, a 2-time champion in Tim Marduk. The 2 Williamses going side by side, coming through towards turn 4 as well. That's Becky B and Tom97, who's looking to try and move his way into P5. GB down in 7th, of course, got caught up in the chaos earlier on, now looking to recover as we now watch them come out of turn 8. It's Karim, though, who leads, and he's trying to gap Ben desperately. He's 9/10 clear as now they take this next run, this back straight through towards turn 11, and Gwatz has retired.
Yep, not good for McLaren's Constructors Championship push, down to 18 with Safso right at the back of the pack. Formula Cream pushing very, very hard. He might just escape away from the reigning champion. This would give him the championship lead. Of course, Ben struggling to stay within 1 second. The McLaren running wide there. He's also on 2 corner cutting warnings. So 1 mistake from Kareem as Tim Marlick coincidentally goes off the circuit. If Kareem falls off the track, 3-second penalty, he is not going to win this race.
No, he certainly won't. He's nearly broken that DRS gap, but Benjamin Daly just applying the battery where required. Once again, he's trying to use all of it to stay in contact with Formula Karim. DRS now enabled here on the final lap of asking. Now or never, Benjamin Daly on the run down through towards turn 1. They are not nose to tail just yet, but he's getting a little closer and will have DRS available coming down through towards turn 4. I would say his best chance is preparation for a run in towards turn 11 midway through this lap. We are now, as we said, on the final lap of asking. Meraki also in this as well in 3rd place, with Noiguera for company as well, looking to try and take another podium in what would be a very special race for Ferrari, with Tom 97 as well in contact. The top 5 have broken away from GB. It was just outside of a second. It's 9/10 now, but Karim still leads the way.
And Tom 97 trying to pick up a late podium potentially, threw it up the inside of Nogueira down to turn number 8, but it did not work out, having to hold station in 5th for the time being. Ben, this is the closest he's been since the very start of the restart. Tom Beener getting past Becky B, but his chances for the win have evaporated courtesy of the safety car. This is going to be a grandstand finish. The 2 championship protagonists separated by 2/10 into the final sector.
They certainly are. Nothing between them. Nose to tail. The gap thinner than a fly's eyelash. And Benjamin Daly could be on the cusp of greatness. Karim could be on the cusp of 6 race wins. But they're going to go together as Karim looks to break the toe away. Almost Max Verstappen-esque from 2021 after overtaking Hamilton at turn 5. As they now come out of the final 2 corners, however, it's Formula Karim. 5 times a race winner becomes 6 times a race winner. And championship lead advantage goes his way. With 2 rounds to go, Karim answers the call. Tim Marlick in 2nd place for Mercedes. Meraki in 3rd as well. 2 former champions sit on the podium, with Noiguera down in 4th place as well. Tom 97 down in 5th. GB in 6th. Tom in 7th. Lolinober in 8th. Formula Kai in 9th place. And Becky B rounds out the top 10.
Wow, former champion 3rd, reigning champion 2nd. Could this be champion-elect finishing in 1st? Brilliant drive from 20th to the front of the field. Had a little bit of luck involved, we have to say that, with the timing of the safety car, but managed it beautifully in those final couple of laps and comes home to take the championship lead for what I think is the first time this season.
Yep, 3 points he was behind. 3 points ahead he will be now coming off the back of that victory. What a magnificent performance from Formula Karim. Well, he was 3 points, I think, between them coming in after the first race, I should say, that we had this evening. There was 3 points behind them. But yeah, we will, of course, update you. I believe fastest lap actually went to the man in P5. Which was, I think it was the Williams of Tom 97 who had that one with a 1:27.672, which would have got him fastest lap of the race. Great lap for him, but all the plaudits go Formula Karim's way. Back-to-back victories at Bahrain in our doubleheader this evening, and our last doubleheader on the F1 24 game. And here, with 2 laps to go, has every chance of lifting the title here in the Creator Series for the first time ever. Has the championship advantage now with two rounds remaining. We've got Jeddah coming up next, and then we have the Mystery GP to finish. Formula Karim is your race winner. He will take all the spoils from race 2. We got Tim Marlick in 2nd as well. Both of the top drivers moving from the bottom 5 echelons of the grid up to the podium and race wins and seconds respectively. Meraki in 3rd as well to round out the podium. Noiguera in 4th, Tom 97 5th, GB in 6th, Tom in 7th, Lolinober 8th. We've got Formula Kai in 9th, Becky B 10th, Rasid Chai 11th, that guy Vince 12th, Infratic 13th. Then we have Scott Taylor, Scotty, then Super Noodle Bagel, F1 Alex towards the rear in 17th, Safso in 18th had some technical issues, with Gwatz also routed to the rear end and Blackmere retiring, that led to the safety car that we of course finished the race on. But what a moment, what a way to end a race. Drama unfolding left, right and indeed centre. Magnificent. We will move across so quickly to Clipbook. Let's go and have a chat. What's new, Josh?
Yeah, so just one or two incidents in those final few laps. The drivers battling very closely. Here coming in towards turn number 8, penultimate lap of the race. Gwatz has a bit of a snap. You can see Razin in front now, looks to the inside of Formula Kai. Once again, a little bit of a mistake into the braking zone. Razin picked up some damage, so did Gwatz into this corner. And unfortunately, this is where his race came to an end. He decided the barrier on the outside of turn 9 looked pretty nice and he wanted to park up there for some food potentially. That's where his race came to an end. But his teammates having better fortunes. On the final lap of the race, teammate Marduk right behind him. If you look at the delta, just a 10.5 separating them here as they make their way on towards the back straight. Karim saving all his battery for this final run, breaking the toe as well very aggressively. Something we don't really see all that often, but Formula Karim managing to come out on top, kept that gap just a couple of tenths, and that was enough for him to secure the victory here tonight.
Yeah, certainly a fantastic ending to the race after the safety car, and you can see what it means to Formula Karim. It will now take the championship lead advantage. There was a slender gap between them coming into that race too after a fantastic race one due to the, obviously we had the puncture wildcard that we were introducing for this evening. But Tom, your reaction, I mean, obviously for the next 2 rounds, we're going to Jeddah next and the mystery race after that to round off the season, and that is a sprint, and obviously we have a sprint race and obviously our usual race that we tend to adopt in that scenario. I mean, huge opportunity still there. We've got a fantastic race at Jeddah lined up as well. Championship still wide open between the top 2 protagonists, but would you say that it is between those top 2 now?
Yeah, just between Ben and Karim, I have to say. Meraki is 39 points back in P3. I don't think he's going to be able to pull that one back. We'll have a look at the standings for everybody. There it is. Formula Karim, 2 points clear of the reigning champion. Very, very close indeed. We could be in for an all-timer to round out F1 24. What we do have to say, though, is Tim Marduk has been here plenty of times before. Karim has not. It's very easy to chase somebody down. It's quite difficult to stay there once you've got there.
Yeah, composure is a big, big deal in these scenarios, but Karim does have the advantage. 255 at the moment at the top of the tree, 253 points for Tiamat Marduk in second. We're joined by Meraki, who's once again coverted his way into the podium places once again. Season 4 champion. Another one. I don't know how you do it. You're like a ninja out there. A lot of people call you the snake. You're slithering into P3. Great stuff, ET. Give us some thoughts. I mean, that was a bit of a hectic one tonight because obviously we had the puncture wild card, which was quite an interesting one. A little bit different to Styrophobia, but just as complexing, I'm sure.
It was weird. The puncture one, I thought I might have done the wrong thing, but in the end, it ended up being a really good idea. And I probably should have done almost the same thing again in the second race as well, because maybe I'd have been a bit closer to Tom. But yeah, we played it okay. Like I was happy with a P5 and a P3 in this race as well, considering how slow I felt. I don't know what was wrong, but yeah, I was not quick today. I've got a P5 and a P3, so. Happy days.
Yeah, it seems the case. I mean, we heard similar things from Benjamin Daly mid-race as well. We had team radio coming in from him saying that he wasn't very happy with the pace that he had in the race. Is it because I got the feeling that was due to the soft tyres a lot of the time, and I think obviously with Bahrain being relatively high deg in areas, the medium does seem to be a better race tyre around this track.
There's actually not that much difference in wear compared to the softs and the mediums, so I was trying to extend that soft stint as long as I could, but like you said, because of the tyre wear is so bad, it's so hard to be consistent and get into a bit of a rhythm because the grip just gets worse and worse and worse, almost like corner by corner. So it's it was not fun, probably because of that. Maybe I just had a pretty bad setup for tyre wear or something, but anyway, I've spawned on the podium again, so I can't complain, can I?
No. It's a genius move. I'm going to throw it over to Tom. Tom, you got a question for the one, the only Jake the Snake?
It's just going to the strategy. I mean, the balance between 1 and 2 stop looked incredibly tight. I imagine after the first race, everybody realised, yikes, this could be a bit of a 2-stop race. Did you have any preconceptions coming in?
What, for doing a 2-stop in the second race?
Yeah.
Not really, because I kind of had my sights set on Ben ahead of me. Because he's obviously the furthest ahead of me in the championship. Not anymore, because Karim's now leading, I think, right?
Yes.
Yep, correct.
So I was kind of just trying to stay with Karim and Ben pretty much that entire race and just kind of match what they were doing, because I think they're the two kind of like closest rivals in the championship. So in hindsight, it would have been better to do the 2-stop, but again, we got very lucky at the end with the safety car, didn't we? So
Well, it was a great result, Jake, and that's another podium to add to the bunch that you've already managed to gain this season. Championship might be out of reach, but you feeling good about the rest of the series?
Well, Championship's definitely out of reach if I don't win a race soon. It's yeah. But yeah. How many have we got left?
You've actually got to do some work in qualifying to make that happen. I think.
Oh, mate, yeah, that's another thing. I don't know what's going on there. P11 last week, P12 this week is shambles. Maybe if I qualify higher up, I'll win a race once. Who knows? But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. You got 2 rounds to prove yourself. We've got a sprint race in the Mystery GP as well. So we wish you all the very best, Jake. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Hey, take care, Meraki, everybody.
Yeah,
take care. That's Jake, everybody. Meraki, of course, part of the Creator Series now and has been part of us for quite a while. We're going to be bringing in very shortly Formula Karim into the commentary box. Our race winner, back-to-back race winner, has gone and done the double in the double header. Karim, you've taken the championship lead. You must be ecstatic after what was and what timing for your puncture as well. Can I just say in the puncture, because you had it in sector 3. Quite a few drivers had it in sectors 1 and 2, which I think made the difference.
Yeah, I mean, thank you guys. I couldn't have hoped for a better doubleheader. I've been hoping that I would have a good 2 races, just consistent, but I never would have expected this, But yeah, as for the puncture in race 1, after you hit 75%, of course it's RNG, but with the way I was, let's call it manipulating the steering wheel to make sure that it was my front left tire that punctured and not my rear left, I think I did a pretty good job of making sure it was the back straight, because that was my plan all along, to do the front left tire and to make sure it was the back straight. And yeah, I think I was on like 85 to 90%. And then coming up to the back straight, I was like, right, I've just got to start weaving, 57 brake bias, slam, locking up everything. And it worked out in the end.
Well, I mean, if you want to look at the stats as well, I mean, tonight has been one of your most successful, I think, night in Creator Series as a whole. You came into the championship this year, took your first race win. You've had 4 up until tonight's round. You've now come away with 6. You've got to be feeling very confident. With 2 rounds to go, you've got Jeddah coming up next, and then the Mystery GP to round off the season. I mean, surely the championship's in reach now, especially as you're leading the way.
Yeah, I knew this weekend would be crucial for the championship. Not just in terms of points, but anything can go wrong when you're starting from the back. And especially with the wildcard we had as well, it was all up in the air. So yeah, coming off this doubleheader, it's definitely on now with Ben. Definitely on.
Yeah, definitely is. Tom, anything from you?
How sketchy was it with those medium tyres? We were hearing some murmurs that you were potentially going to be in puncture territory by the time we got to the end. Potentially having your bacon saved a little bit by the safety car?
Is this the second race, right?
Yeah, the second race. Well, to be fair, it could be in both races.
Yeah, I mean, I was in puncture range in the first race as well. I'm sure you saw the gap coming down. I was super saving. I was not risking anything. But yeah, the second race, the safety car definitely helped, because I don't think our one stop would have been ideal, whether or not I got a puncture. But me and my chat were calculating. It was looking like at least 80% on the tires by the end of the race. So yeah, I mean, the first race, I didn't get a puncture till past 80%, but as we know, it's all RNG, so who knows what could have happened.
Yeah, you can definitely see the nerves all over your forehead, mine with the sweat starting to billow from your head at the moment. No doubt it was a tense one. We wish you all the very best, Karim. Congratulations. What a successful night here in the Creator Series for you. 6 race wins to your plethora you've already taken this season, and now championship leader as well. We wish you all the best going to Jeddah next time around.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the interview.
No problem at all. Formula Karim, everybody. Race winner twice over tonight for the double header here at Bahrain. Let's move across and take a look at the standings just very quickly. First and foremost, this, of course, being the team standings we didn't get a chance to look at before. 3 points now between Mercedes and McLaren. Not only is there a tight fight between Tibet Marduk and Formula Karim, but it's also on show in the team standings between those 2 drivers and their constructors here this time around. The 2 of them sharing the front end, but Aston Martin not out of it. Arguably, the team standings is more volatile than the drivers. We got Visa Cash Up RB down in 4th as well on 240 points. Red Bull in 5th on 231. Haas on 216 with Alpine on 207. Ferrari on 171. Williams on 125. And Sauber at the bottom on 112. It's tight everywhere we look, Tom.
Beautiful. That's what we want to see coming into the final couple of races. And if you look at the form book, Formula Cream has won 4 out of the last 5 races. So he goes into those final couple. Obviously, we have a sprint, so it's technically 3 races to end the season. He comes in very, very good nick. And in those races, Ben's only got a couple of podiums.
You never know. It could be 8 race wins come the end of the season as well. We'll have to wait and see whether that is going to be the case. But, of course, TM Armada could be doing his best to stop that from happening. Well, we're going to introduce Josh Richards back again. Josh, what a remarkable race it was, remarkable round. Obviously, we said it could be championship defining. I would argue that indeed it was, I think, and I think we're going to have another round that's like that. Obviously, the finale with the sprint race, I think, is going to be another one to keep our eyes peeled on. But your thoughts after this? I mean, like we said, we saw the standings. Things have got tighter across the order. Of course, now Karim in the lead of the championship. But the question is, can he stay there, Josh?
I think if you look at his form, I think surely he has to be the favourite for the title this season. Even though Team Marduk, he's won 2 championships here in Creator Series. Surely with the form that we're seeing Karim on, as you said, 4 wins in the last 5 races, I don't think anyone can doubt that he is in his prime right now, and he's definitely going to be the one to challenge.
He definitely will be. I mean, Tom, you know, I'm going to ask you to whip out your fortune teller skills here. Obviously, I know you're a man who also likes to deal in 180s. But let's talk about, you know, Jeddah and the mystery GP to come. Could Karim hit a 9 darter and get himself a world championship under his belt?
He could do. I think you're a very dangerous man to write off Tiamat Marduk. That is the one thing that I would say. And now that the pressure is now on Karim's shoulders, it's technically in his hands from now until the end of the season. Ben's going to have to do the chasing, albeit it's a very small gap of 2 points. I think writing him off going into those final couple just because of the form book is dangerous. I know I brought it up that, you know, 4 wins out of the last 5 and Ben's only got 2 podiums in those races, but at crunch time, that's where your champions rise to the front.
Well, it's truly going to be a storybook finish to this series and also to the end of F1 24 here for the F1 Creator Series powered by EA Sports. Don't forget, folks, if you've been tuned in across our 3 platforms, we've been live tonight on Twitch, YouTube and TikTok tonight. Big thank you to every single one of you who've been tuned in on Twitch here this evening. Make sure you slap a follow to the channel. If you've been tuned in on YouTube, hit the like and also subscribe as well. If you've been tuned in on TikTok, get involved. A new platform for us. Hit the follow button and also leave a like. Check out the reels that we do, of course, post across our social networks. And if you want to find them, you can. All the links are above. All the @ tags, I should say. At F1 Creator Series on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, YouTube, they're all the same. You can find them all across the board. And of course, don't forget as well, sign-ups are fully underway ahead of F1 25. That'll be coming up in the not too distant future. We've only got 2 rounds left to take us through to the championship finale, of course. Jeddah next, and then the mystery GP with a sprint race will also lie in wait for the final round of the season. If you've enjoyed the broadcast, big thank you to all of you tuning in as well. You can check out the commentators as well. Josh, where can they find you, sir?
Yeah, my Twitch channel at It's Chocolate. That's where you can find me most of the time. I also commentate over on the STRL official Twitch channel as well.
There we go. Tom, where can they find you, good sir?
At TDub06 on Twitter, and if you're a darts fan, Wilco.darts on TikTok.
Fantastic stuff. If you want to check me out as well, you can find me at George Morgan TV on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. You can find me, they're all the same. Does not change, at George Morgan TV. But today, Karim came a-knocking, the P1 came calling, not only once, but twice. And now he leads the championship at this stage. With 2 rounds to go, Jeddah lies in wait, and also a sprint season finale as well later on. Who's going to come out on top? Will it be Ben Daly to become a 3-time champion, or will it be Karim's first title? We'll bring you all the action, folks. Join us next time when we head to Jeddah for the penultimate round. Until then, goodbye.